to shield. Mothers clutch their pearls, their heartbreak unsealed. Dogs won't bark, the sky won't rain, even the sun feels a little less sane. Dogs won't bark, the sky won't rain, even the sun feels a little less sane.
AP News, I'm Ed Donahue. Tensions are rising in Minneapolis.
Minnesota authorities had expected to work with the FBI on the shooting investigation into the death of a woman shot by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Now the state's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension has changed course and is barring Minnesota investigators access to evidence and witnesses, leading Minnesota investigators to say that they had to reluctantly withdraw. When asked about the change, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem refocused the blame on Minnesota.
Minnesota's a train wreck.
And that.
And they let criminals and illegals and people abuse programs and steal the money, and now they're allowing violence to go forward on the streets as well.
Saying
they have not been cut out. They don't have any jurisdiction in this investigation.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
People in positions of power have already passed judgment.
And says,
that's very, very difficult to think that they were going to be fair.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Sources tell the AP President Trump's advisors met at the White House with Denmark and Greenland envoys as the president reignites takeover talk. The head of Venezuela's National Assembly says a significant number of citizens and foreigners will be released from prisons as a gesture to seek peace. The announcement by Jorge Rodriguez comes less than a week after former President Nicolas Maduro was captured by U.S. forces to face federal drug trafficking charges in New York. The House refused to override President Trump's veto of two low-profile bills as Republicans stuck with the president despite their prior support for the measures. Congress can override a veto with support from two-thirds of the members of the House and the Senate. The Congressional Budget Office released new economic projections expecting the Federal Reserve to cut short-term rates in 2026. The federal funds rate is projected to settle at 3.4% by the end of President Trump's term in 2028. More information at apnews.com. This is AP News. Israel's military killed an 11-year-old girl in Gaza
after she was shot by Israeli military gunfire. The killing by Israeli forces occurred nearly 3 months after a ceasefire took effect. Hamza Husu died on Thursday after Israeli shells and shrapnel hit her home in Jabalia, where her family returned a day after the ceasefire. Gaza's health ministry says Israel's military has killed at least 424 people since the ceasefire took effect on October the 10th, 2025. Husu's uncle said Israeli gunfire has been a daily occurrence in the family's neighborhood, even though their home lies west of the line that is under Israeli military control. I'm Karen Shamas.
Russia has strongly condemned the U.S. seizure of an oil tanker, a new chill in relations between Moscow and Washington that could spread to other areas and affect President Trump's efforts to persuade Russia to end the 4-year-long war in Ukraine. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
If you see something, say something. And stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Alarm clock bark, sky still gray, radio clicks on, static haze. Good morning, Marianas, in my face. Brad yelling, wake up, Saipan, no escape. Coffee burns my lip, he laughs in my kitchen. Talks like he knows every bruise that I am in. Good morning, Marianas. Rise up, Saipan. Hearts on the harbor, headlines in his hand. Good morning, Marianas. Live from the reef to the ridge. Bread with the weather and a dare on the bridge. Traffic on Beach Road, kids half dressed. He jokes about rain and unpaid rent. Says call the show, tell me what you regret. Then plays our song like a second chance bet. He says, say your name, we say it like a prayer. Through busted speakers, we are almost there. Good morning, Marianas. Rise up, Saipan. Shacks and condos, all sing with the fan. Good morning, Marianas. Old scars, new daylight. Brad talks nonsense, somehow gets it right. Who is this voice in my cracked dashboard? Why does it feel like he is keeping score of every tired island soul dragged out of bed? Every maybe I will make it spinning in my head. Good morning, Marianas. Rise up, Saipan. Bad roads, good stories, all part of the plan. Good morning, Marianas. Yeah, shout it again. Brad says you are awake, so start living it then.
Good morning, Marianas. Holy cow, it's Friday. The weekend is here. It's true. We finally made it. I can't believe it. I didn't think it was going to get here. But finally, somehow, some way, the world did work out that way. So we're here. Good morning, everybody. 7:45 here on your Friday morning. It is January 9th. So many things happening this weekend. But I know at least one person is going to be focused on what's happening in less than 3 hours from now, as the 10th ranked Miami Hurricanes going to be playing against the number 6 Ole Miss Rebels. That's right. It is the playoff for NCAA. That's right. The NCAA football college playoffs is in full effect. A big game I'm looking for. I'm excited to see what happens with this Indiana team out of nowhere. Signetti's guys looking pretty good, and you can watch it at a reasonable hour on the weekend. You're allowed to drink a beer on a Saturday morning at 10:30 in some circles, and that could be the best way to do it. But I know know, a lot of eyes going to be watching what's happening today, too. I think if you see a whole lot of cars over at Wild Bill's today, that's probably going to be why. People having beverages and all that. Hey, speaking of Wild Bill's, one of the guys who I would see there a lot, he goes way back before Wild Bill's and everything. In fact, I met him. He was a bartender over at Hamilton's. We're thinking about our buddy Bo, who is he's in the hospital right now and not looking too good. If you know Bo, the bartender out here in Saipan, he's having a real rough go of things. And he's at the hospital with, he's got stage 4 colon cancer. And it's not looking great for him, but I'll tell you what, he's been a friend to a ton of people here in the Marianas since I've been here. Just a nice guy, and can be there, make a real great drink and a great conversation. If you're the praying type, give him a prayer. And, you know, if you're one of his friends, if you've got to meet with him and all that other stuff over all these years, you know, maybe go in there and say hey to him. He's over there at CHC, and I'm sure he won't be disappointed to see you as he's going through some really rough times right now. But let's keep this going. We'll take a little bit of a turn, and looking forward to all you folks out there. Thank you. You guys in the comments real quick. Hey, Jim, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in this morning over there in YouTube land. Eric Mofnas, veteran brother as well over there. And that's great. Look at that. We're all confirmed. You know, just a quick side note. January 26th, if you are a veteran, if you're not already registered with the CNMI Veterans Affairs Office, this is the local one, not the federal one, you want to get that done because there will be free laptops given away. They're going to give you the voucher on January 26th, but the important thing for you to do is to go there and register with their office. If you're already registered, you still need to go there so that you can get your voucher, but that's going to be on January 26th. Now, what we're going to do, what Eric was talking about, last night we had our Veterans Foreign Wars meeting up at the Hill at down in Garapan. And one of the things that we're going to do is, well, we got to reach out to the office. But while people are coming over there, we're going to be out there too. And we'll be there probably with the Project Buddy Check guys, side by side, because a lot of us are in both. Just try to get you guys aware of what we've got going on. And maybe sign you up, become part of our organization, and to help keep the biggest lobby for veterans going strong out here in the Marianas and nationwide. But that's great stuff. Luisa Cabrera, great to see you. No kidding. No, I didn't make it out to that thing yesterday, but I'm going to be posting about it after the show. Today is a pretty full show, speaking of which. We have a phone call coming up in about 10 minutes with, if you remember, about a year ago, this time last year, we had a doctoral student from Harvard who is on with us, Chelsea King. And she is doing a study about things here, not just in the Marianas, but she's a doctoral student. She's going to tell you all about it. But she deals with all kinds of different things. Particularly, she's talking about inequality throughout the world and everything. And she's looking to try to mitigate these kind of inequalities, and particularly in as it relates to our indigenous community here from the Marianas. She's from here. She's doing her dissertation where she attempts to understand how Chamorro and Rapaloas connect with each other from the Marianas. You're going to hear more about it from her. Of course, she's going to sound better at it than I am explaining it. But this is an opportunity for you. That's right. You're Chamorro or Carolinian. Doesn't matter if you're in Guam. You're part of this too. Check this out. You can get yourself $50. That's right. Just for being a part of her study. She's looking for people who didn't participate in it in the first time, ideally, because she's still looking at getting it. You're going to be part of an interview with her. In fact, we can put this on the screen so you can see it. You'll be seeing this on the website. You'll be seeing this on the social media. You can get yourself $50. $50, and it's really easy. You're going to have a conversation with somebody from the Marianas about your experience here in the Marianas, It's about 90 minutes. When you look at the flyer here, it says a 2-hour virtual interview. It's probably going to be less than that. But you're going to get $50, and you're going to talk about yourself and your life in the Marianas. And you're going to be speaking with someone who is just so pleasant and such a great extension of our culture and our folks out here in the mainland. She's currently in Japan, so that's where our call is going to come from today, where she's out there. And we had a good catch up yesterday about like everything that she's doing and all that. And Chelsea King, you're going to hear about her family out here and everything like that. But in particular, this is going to be your thing. So when we post this today, first of all, you can snap this on your screen right now with your phone and get that QR code. And they're going to ask you where you heard about it. Tell them that you heard about it from us over here at NMI News Service, please. But we're going to be posting this up so that you guys can take advantage of this. $50 for just having a conversation. And they pay fast and everything too. There's nothing crazy, quirky. There's no scam and all this stuff. She is a doctoral student. She is doing this as part of her dissertation, and you can be a part of it. And she's got funding from Harvard. Yeah, they're going to make sure they pay you. I really went bad on that accent. Did not work well. But you're going to be able to get $50 just because they are funding it, and it'll be yours. You probably already know a ton of people from here who already did this last year. Well, this is the same thing. They're doing it again here, and this is your opportunity. If you've got any questions about it, you could drop me a line, but you're going to hear from her in like 7 minutes when we set up this call. So it's great. Again, it is a great opportunity for you. And she was sharing about the folks that she met with last year when they were talking about it, and what a great conversation it was. And remember, this time, this is open to people from Guam also. So it's the NMI and Guam study that she's doing as part of her regular thing. You don't have to do anything crazy. It's all going to be virtual anyway. You're going to be speaking on the phone or a video call, and it's a piece of cake. And she's so nice. Well, you're going to see her. You're going to see her. This won't be a blind thing where you guys don't hear about it or anything. You guys are going to hear from her yourselves here in just a little bit. So not too bad. Jack Bueckis, good morning. Good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us today again. Stick around. In about 6 minutes, we're going to have Chelsea on the phone with us, and you'll be able to see her. Tobati, you are just hilarious. He fired himself today. He said he's out of it. He's done. He had enough. That is great. Oh, my God. Listen to this. My gosh. So Slayer 6703 is over there in Oregon right now, and he's telling us all this good stuff. Well, first of all, he says, God, Jesus Christ, bless the people of the CNMI. Good morning, everyone. That's great. Thank you so much. He says he's watching from Oregon, and then talking about CNMI cultural food is the best. Lemai with binadu and some zuzu. I'm like, oh, man, forget it. Yes, that sounds like a lunch plan. If you can get that over at Ina's Kitchen today, I would be there for sure. But that sounds awesome, doesn't it? That sounds great. I would totally go for all that stuff. I'm going to take it one step further. I like a little bit, you get a little bit of that like lemon you could squeeze on it, and then a Bud Light sounds great to me, or Busch Light, something very light, the lighter beers. Brad, you need Bud Heavy. I'm like, I'm all right. It's okay. I'm heavy enough for both of us. But that sounds like the meal that you want to have. Oh, we had some good news roll in yesterday, too, that we're really excited about. But before we get to all that stuff, let's get you a look at traffic, because there is traffic out there today. And we want to make sure that you know what's going on as you're driving around from place to place. So let's get to it and let you know how the roads are looking today. We don't have a traffic copter, but we are pretty cool. So let's take a look over there. That is what it looks like over there by AK. We're going to give it a real quick refresh over there. Atkins Kroll Toyota bringing you your traffic report today. And Middle Road is looking really good. And even over there by a typically busy intersection by CHC, over there by the pickleball courts over there at AMP. A little bit of traffic over there by JG Water JG Sablon, Ice and Water, and also over there by the museum, not too bad. Gualarai, you got some folks, if you're trying to head north, when you get to the courthouse intersection, there's going to be a little bit of a delay, but not too much. It's your typical intersection stuff. It's not like you're behind the school bus of doom. Over by the intersection that matters, by the place where connections matter, IT&E, looking pretty good over there. If you look at that, some folks trying to head south and folks trying to head east, but that's not too bad either. Over by the old AK, the intersection that's shaped like an A, looking pretty good as well. Let's head south as folks are trying to make their way. MHS starts at 9 in the morning, and traffic is already there as students and staff try to make their way into the school. Coming north on Beach Road over there by the courthouse, there's a little bit of traffic, and once again over there by Joten Susupi. Looking further south over there by the post office, just some folks head up by the light in CK, and over there by Hopwood at Chalmpiao. It's people have been there for a little bit, but it's not too bad. Coming down from the airport, though, Tunkyoshi Road, a lot of people waiting to get at past that light by Guangdong Hardware, and that's still pretty good. The folks over at the Nutrition Assistance Program, there's a little bit of folks over there, but not too bad. Now we're already over to Shell Dandan, where there's like hardly any traffic between there and the college. A little bit of folks over there waiting at the light by the Proa Union, but hey, that's not too bad. I mean, this is otherwise a pretty nice day. You guys are driving great out there. Look at you little drivers. Aren't you adorable? Yeah, you guys are doing great. All right, well, traffic otherwise looks good all around Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda. I'm just guessing with Tinian and Rhoda. We could look at them, but their traffic is pretty solid. We should just try to get the pilots from Star Marianas when they're in the air to tell us about it as they're up there and give us their report overseas. Hey, by the way, while you are out there driving on the road, nothing would be nicer than hopping in your brand new Corolla or Tacoma. They've got great programs over there at AK Toyota. $2,000 down payment assistance for the Corolla with a year of free insurance. How about $3,000 down payment and a free tent and 3 years of free service with your new Tacoma? My gosh, you could drive over everything. You could drive over every closed business in Saipan. That's true with your new Tacoma. You can be the leader of the pack once you get out there. It's going to be pretty neat, and you'll enjoy it from the driver's seat of your new Tacoma. Good morning. Hey, Mike, great to see you over there in the comments. He posted an op-ed with us. He sent it over to us. I want to say thanks to you, by the way, for trusting us with your words by sending it to us. And, we get it out there for you and everything. And, maybe one of these days we got to get you on to talk about some of that stuff, too. So let our viewers get to hear you and see you a little bit. Instead of just reading it from you, maybe hear some of the thoughts you have. You have a lot of thoughts, and we're really glad that you send it to us so we can share it with our community. Anyway, I hope all is well, man, out there in the mainland, and things are going pretty well over here. Good morning, Ann Sablon. What an absolute treat to see you this morning. Thanks for being here, and I hope everything's great with you. I hope you had a great holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to you. D. Sammy in the house. I haven't seen you in a little bit, but great to see you with us again this morning as well. All right, so as we mentioned, we are going to have our special guest on here from Japan, Miss Chelsea King. We're going to give her a ring now while we're sitting here talking to you. We're going to give her a ring on the old Google machine. We're going to do the Google team setup. When we tried doing this yesterday with our regular conversation on WhatsApp, had some difficulties, so we're just going to do it this way. It just seems to make more sense. But guys, this is what we're going to be talking about, what's on the screen right now. Again, you're from the Marianas, CNMI, and Guam. Look at this. You're going to get $50. This is a totally legit thing because I would look at it and say, who's going to give me $50 just to talk to them? This is how you're going to be able to do that. And I'm telling you, it is awesome. We had her on last year. A lot of people got their money from just having that conversation. If you didn't do it last year, you can do it. And we're posting this on the page, so you're going to be able to do this as well. Yep, I hear I'm just setting up all this stuff. Yep. Yes and yes. There we go. And we're going to join this call and get her on with us this morning. So just sit tight, folks. I can see her on the screen. You guys are going to be able to see her on the screen in just a little bit. All right, let me turn my little music down. Chelsea, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, how lovely. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us this morning on Good Morning Marianas. She can't see me, though. I've got 2 cameras that are hooked up into our other software, so she can't see us, unfortunately. But we can see you. And everybody here in the Marianas can see you as well. I want to say thanks for joining us. It is Chelsea King. Chelsea, we got to meet you last year, and all of a sudden, we get to do this again. This is so cool. How are you?
Thank you. I think it's been a whole year since the last time I recruited interviewees through you. So thank you again for having me on the show.
Well, it is a pleasure for us to do it. We had a lot of fun meeting you last year, and even though, not in person yet, one of those days this is going to happen. But right now, though, seeing you again and hearing more about your project and everything, it's really exciting. We're telling people about it this morning. Let's talk about you first. Maybe could you introduce yourself to our audience a little bit? You've got millions and millions of people watching around the world, maybe billions, who knows?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm now very anxious and nervous to introduce myself.
You're welcome.
But hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea King. I am from Saipan. I am currently a 5th-year PhD student at Harvard University in the Department of Sociology. And I'm currently on Brad's show to sort of advertise for my interview study, which is part of my dissertation project. So happy to be here.
Yeah, and let's talk about you, get everybody a little comfortable with you and all that stuff. In case they didn't watch last year, shame on them, first of all. But, you're from Saipan and everything. Maybe, tell everybody about where you grew up and your folks, your fam, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So my father is Juan de Leongoro King. My mother, she is from the Philippines. She passed away when I was very young. But my whole family is from Saipan, also from Guam. And of course, Rhoda Tinian. I'm sure the bloodline and the family lines are spread throughout the whole Marianas. But I grew up on Saipan, moved around a lot because my adopted father was in the military, and so we were stationed all over the U.S. But I'm kind of nervous right now after hearing about the million viewership. So not sure what else to say.
That's great. And so now you're doing great stuff. You're off doing fancy stuff at an Ivy League school, and you're going for your doctorate now. And so can you tell us about what you're pursuing with your degree, and then maybe talk about this project? I am pursuing my doctorate degree. I have about 2 more years until I complete my dissertation, get my PhD, and get to be called doctor and whatever. Oh.
But my dissertation project is, so first of all, I study sociology. Sociology is basically the study of society. In particular, I study poverty, I study inequality, I study racial identity. And so part of my dissertation is trying to understand how indigenous peoples like the Chamorro people and the Rafalawash people understand topics like race, ethnicity, identity, things like that, and, sort of what that means for the future of the Marianas, and also trying to take these very small, populations that nobody really knows much about, and try to bring a spotlight to them in academia and in research.
And that's part of what that's what this whole thing is all about. I mean, it's part of your project that you need to talk to a lot of people and what is this exactly? I mean, you're trying to reach out to folks and get their experience, capture what they've got. Are you sharing with them?
Yeah, so it's, I guess, yeah. So taking a step back, this interview study, it's part of my dissertation. I'm hoping to recruit 50 people from the Northern Mariana Islands and then 50 people from Guam. So currently, just to keep the data tight and neat, um, I'm going to try and interview tomorrow people who are 18 years and older, but Rafalawash, those who identify as Rafalawash are welcome to sign up. Um, but yeah, so 18 years, at least 18 years old. But of course, hopefully I get a huge range of ages. Second is that there is no education requirement. So I know some people feel like, oh, they need to be attending college or they need to have some bachelor's degree or something like that to be a part of the study. They don't. I welcome people of all educational backgrounds, just as long as they are at least 18 years of age. And then, yeah, that's basically the recruitment criteria. It's open to anyone who's interested and who fits within those criteria.
Well, that's awesome. And can you give us a little idea, like, how does that conversation go when they finally do get to meet with you? Is this a video call, a voice call, and all that?
It really depends on the participant. I know some of them like WhatsApp. That seems to be very popular, especially on Guam. We can also do Zoom, Google Meets. It really depends on what the participant is comfortable doing. And if they would like to sign up, they could let me know in the pre-screening survey. So there's a link to the pre-screening survey that I'm hoping that Brad can share with you all. But there is a section where, you can prefer to be called, to be emailed, contacted through text, through call, and we can work out the meeting details one-on-one. So it really depends on what the participant is comfortable with.
Well, it's great, and people are already interested. One said, "Some want to stay anonymous." I thought that was great. Put on a little smiley face. Another one, Michael Gregory says, "Hey, very insightful and fascinating. So excited for you, Chelsea. Congrats, rooting for your 2 years left."
Thank you. It means a lot to me.
So this is open to everybody. You got to be 18 and up. And it's not just here in Saipan, it's the whole Marianas, the Saipan, Tinian, Rota, Guam. If you guys get signal up there in Pagan, you could do it too. And this is going to get you, it's a $50 conversation with you. And it seems like, based on our conversations, they're pretty easy. I mean, I'd almost like to get interviewed or watch one of these interviews just to see what it is, because it's such a great conversation, and I think it would be more insightful for me to know more about your project. I know I would love to actually hear one of these things, because I want to hear how those conversations go. I'm like, be a fly on the wall in that room to see what your finished product might look like later.
See, I keep evading the question because I don't want to bias people's responses. I'm not looking for a particular response, but the interview is about Chamorro or Valawash identity and how people understand topics like race, ethnicity, and things like that. And I can't say more beyond that because I don't want to make people think that they have to answer in a certain way. I want it to be very open-ended. It really depends on how comfortable the person feels sharing those things with me. Of course, I'm going to have an interview protocol, and I'm going to ask a lot of questions that are actually tailored to the participant. It's not just me reading off a set of questions and then, people are answering like a survey. It's not really like that. It's more so like I'm trying to understand deeply my participants' stories. And everything is going to be anonymized. There are research consent forms, and there are ethical guidelines that I, commit to follow through. And I got approval from the University of Guam IRB program, as well as Harvard's IRB program, to make sure that this research is conducted in an ethical, consensual way, and that participants' data is kept confidential. And I do want to say, because, in this day and age, you usually only need like 3 pieces of information about someone to know who they are, especially in like small communities like those found in the Marianas, right? And so I take that into consideration. I do my best to anonymize background information as much as possible. So there's a lot of checks. There's a lot of checks that I put into place to make sure that my data, my participants' data is safe and confidential, and that that they feel comfortable sharing with however much or whatever they want to share with me during the interview process.
Well, that's great. Well, speaking of checks, there's a lot of checks going out for your for your interviews. People are going to be able to get $50 to do all this stuff. Popping in the comments, Tobot Castro says, "Hey, Chelsea is really cool. I had fun talking with her last time." How
Thank
great!
you.
And then there's someone reaching out from Oregon. Slayer saying, "Hey, can the interview be via phone instead of video call?"
Yeah, I actually, okay. So the reason why I say video call is because I want to make sure that participants don't get like long distance bills through regular telephone call, but we can do a WhatsApp audio call, and that is perfectly fine. Like, I don't need to see your face or anything like that. I just need to record the audio. And it's not going to be attached to the participant's name or anything. In fact, by the time I draft up my dissertation, I won't even remember which name is attached to which transcript, because I try to put in as many checks as possible to detach the data from its original owner.
Great.
So yeah, it can definitely be through audio call. And for those who are part of the diaspora, they are more than welcome to participate in the study. I just ask that they have lived a majority of their lives in the Marianas. So because I know a lot of people move around. I was a part of the military family, and so I went to like 3 different states or something like that when I was growing up. So I understand all of that. It's just I want to make sure that the population who has lived in the Marianas the longest is able to participate.
So you're part of that diaspora. And, I became a little bit more aware of all of it during COVID, when, I'd heard about it and everything, about the people who, of course, living here for any amount of time, you hear about the mainland Marianas, which is like the Pacific Northwest. Might as well be like Marpy or Asthma Twist for us, because there's so many folks who are in Oregon, in Washington State, over there in Boise, and then we've got folks in Texas and California. I mean, everywhere, but primarily those are the big hotspots I heard about. But during the COVID stuff, there was out of Guam, Michael Bavacqua was doing Chamorro language classes on Saturdays. And he was doing that anyway at coffee shops, but then he brought it online for folks. And I made friends with people who are Chamorro who've never ever been to the Marianas, and they would only romanticize about hearing their parents or their grandparents or knowing that that's where they're from. And it was really interesting. How about for you? Do you get, I don't know. I know there were a couple folks at Harvard from Tinian recently, but do you get to bump into a lot of folks from the island? And what's your experience like while you're out there?
Yeah, I've been bumping into folks since my undergraduate studies. People from Saipan, people from Tinian. Not so much. Maybe one from Rhoda. But yes, from all over the Marianas, I've been bumping into people who are part of the diaspora who were born and raised in the Marianas and who sort of make their way to the mainland for college. And of course, I do meet people who were not necessarily born and raised in the Marianas, but visit every so often. And so they're still very much connected to the family there. Um, so yeah, I bumped into so many Chamorros in the mainland. You just have to know, whose family is whose, and trying to reach out when you can. And when I see a last name, I'm like, oh, are they Chamorro? So so yeah, it's we're everywhere. I do want to say because I think for this particular dissertation study, because if I were to interview everybody, that I would never complete the dissertation. So I still want to keep the criteria of, I'm sorry for the folks that I'm excluding who weren't living a majority of their lives in the Marianas, but I do want to keep the criteria limited just to make sure that my dissertation topic is clean and narrow enough for me to finish in 2 years. But hopefully, if as I continue my journey in academia, I can definitely extend the research project to those who are part of the diaspora. But that would be for like future oriented plans.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a whole nother dissertation.
Yes.
But it is great. And, when you were talking about like, ooh, if you see the name, could it be, are they tomorrow? Are they all that stuff? For me, we've done it before, like when we travel and, we see someone, if they're wearing like the right kind of shirt, or maybe you see a little logo or maybe a word on it or something like that. And we've done it like in Japan. Speaking of, we were talking about being in Japan. I think it was Universal Studios we were walking in, and I saw our family, we saw somebody wearing like the Guam seal on one of the shirts. I'm like, no way. And it's like, all right, let's try it out. We'll try our little, see if we can do this. Like, oh, tomorrow how? And like, whoa, they turn around like, whoa, no way. Now we're going to start talking. And it's like, oh, no way. This is great. So, yeah.
Yeah. You'll see sprinkles, or like, I'll see somebody wearing like a Sanahi or like Hafade on their shirt, and I'm like, hey, I'm from there too. I'm sorry to intrude and bother you. But there's a lot of us, but there is a few of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great when we see another local or person who's lived in the Marianas.
All right. Well, checking out some of the other ones, folks. So like Juan Nandan, he went in and says, diaspora means a group of people who are not originally from the place they're living in. Well, I guess I'm like part of the Holly diaspora. I mean, that counts for me too. Thanks, Juan. And in the YouTube, Slayer's like, I'm a well-known Chamorro living the nature way. Just moved out here 4 months ago. Never left Rhoda until now, and been there all my life. Yeah, so you would qualify for that for this interview.
Mm-hmm. Yes, if they identify as Chamorro or Rafalawash and meet all the other criteria, then yeah, definitely they qualify for the study.
All right. Well, this is great. Is there anything you could share, like something that, with regards to your dissertation, through all these interviews, all these conversations, anything that's been surprising or really special that maybe you weren't expecting to learn in this journey?
Yeah, there's a lot of I can't say too much because I haven't really collected the data enough to write conclusions, but I can say from previous interviews that I've done in the past, there are a lot of because I'm coming from the field of sociology, there are a lot of problems and issues that I think everyone has so much knowledge about. And they very much share knowledge of all of those issues. And, sometimes they tell me like, I feel like, I feel like I wasn't going to be smart enough to answer the questions, or I wasn't going to know enough to answer the questions. But once we get the interview process going, each participant, I feel, is super knowledgeable about what it is that they think they don't know about in the beginning. So yeah, I just want to shout out to that shared knowledge that I think is very much abundant in our community. And it really doesn't matter if they have like less than a high school degree or if they have a PhD for that matter, there's so much knowledge that is abundant among our community members.
So no degree, no PhD, just DNA is what you're looking for. This is going to be a great opportunity for folks. So it's a conversation with you, and you're paying them for this conversation too. How does all that work? Just to give us an idea. I have not chased after a PhD. My wife will be, I know, even though if she's watching, she's like, oh, I don't know. But for getting something like this together, putting together this, is it like, I think of it as just a big writing project, but way more intense, where you have your thesis statement and you kind of build everything around it. How does this work for you, and how does a study like this get funded for you? Like how do they put that kind of stuff in place?
Yeah. If you're willing to have me on the show for longer, I can talk about all those details. So it's exactly like you said, the dissertation project is like a huge writing project, right? You have like this thesis or this argument, and you sort of draft a bunch of papers around this thesis, this argument. My dissertation will probably be around 200 pages long. So. Wow. 200 pages long, and that's not including, all of the memos and the analysis of the data and all of that stuff and all of the reading that goes into it. So there's that. My dissertation is funded, at least for the participants who are being paid $50. It is funded by, how many grants? By 3 grants that I applied and received from Harvard. The Asia Center at Harvard, I received a grant from them. The Center of American Political Science from Harvard, I received a grant for them. And of course, the Native American program, which puts spotlights on Indigenous communities around the world, they are also funding my project. So so a lot of the funds that I have for this project are coming from organizations within Harvard. And if your wife wants to talk more about the PhD program, please, you have my email. She can message me if she would like to talk more about it.
That's great. Tobot says, I think I'm PhD because I take medication. Yeah, Tobot, that's exactly how it works, buddy. Juan, he's like, ask her if she has any ideas how we can unite the Chamorro families here and abroad, like programs or social structures.
That is a big question, and I cannot answer it within the timeline of this show, or else it'll be years. But it's a deep question. It's a question that a lot of academics have been asking, and and they're probing what the future of that could look like. And honestly, it really depends on like I said, the abundance of the shared knowledge of our community members, and sort of making connections between all of them and trying to reveal those connections to them. And what I mean by that is, I'm hoping from this dissertation is that we'll somehow find a piece of the answer to that. Of course, I'm not saying that this dissertation is going to solve, whatever disunity or whatever separation is happening within the community, far from it. But I think at least the findings from the interviews can sort of give us a hint of, what we can predict for unity, or what we can, I don't want to say this in like a very jargon way, but it'll shed light. It will shed light on answers to that question. But as of right now, I don't have the time, or I think the language to really answer that question right now.
So it's a big issue, and so I think that's the easier way. We'll just say, oh well, it's a big issue. We love to talk. We should do. We can come back and talk about that if you want to do it one day. We can have you on here, and if you want to have other folks on there with you too, be pretty neat. We can structure all kinds of fun stuff here with these kind of things. So. I know today it's a little bit more targeted because we want to make sure that in order for you to get this degree and to finish your dissertation, you need the support of the people from the Marianas, where you're from, to participate in these things. And it's not just asking people to give their time, they're actually getting compensated for it. So I know it's going to be a great conversation. Maybe they'll learn a little bit about themselves and you along the way. And, it's really cool. How have the conversations been so far from folks?
Yeah, because so I haven't started my dissertation project yet, but I have done a previous research project with my professor, Michelle Lamont, on how people think about their lives in the Marianas and the environment and things like that. So the conversations have been going very well. I'm so grateful and appreciative to all of those who participated. Of course, I cannot say any names or anything like that, but all of the folks who participated so far have told me, wow, like it's great to be able to talk about these things, or, I never been asked that question. Let me think about it. Those are like, each interview is so unique and each conversation style is so unique. And also they make me laugh so much because I think the people from the Marianas are some of the funniest people in the world, with all their comedy just like thrown in there, even when we're talking about very deep, structural issues like poverty or, inequality or something like that. Like, yeah, I think I'm just super appreciative for the stories that people are willing to share with me. I mean, $50 is like, yeah, sure, it's compensation, but the value of these stories and the meanings that people have in their lives and what they're willing to share, I think is just, there's no number I can attach to that. It's such an honor.
Well, that's great. And what I like about that too is that, hey, right now, the current state of the economy in the Marianas, I mean, people are probably saying this, and it's relative to every community, but I can tell you right now, in an environment where you've got our U.S. Congresswoman, our governor, our Senate president, our House Speaker, all putting in a letter not only to the commander of Indo-PACOM, but also to the president saying, hey, we are in dire straits here. It's a national security issue. That this $50 that people will get from this conversation is going to go a long way out here. So, and it'll be fun on top of that. So I don't think there's anyone could lose on this. It's just a great opportunity. It helps a daughter of the Marianas get a step closer to getting her doctorate, and we get to see this happen, and you get $50 along the way. So it's great stuff. All right.
So much fun.
You got it. Is there anybody that you want to say hi to? Any acknowledgments for anybody? Maybe your program? What do you think?
Yeah. My family, all over the archipelago, Auntie Rosie and Rhoda, Auntie Anning and everybody else on Saipan, and, just folks I interviewed from Tinian, like, shout out to all of you. Thank you. If it wasn't for my family or for the community, even the broader community who I'm not related to, I wouldn't be where I am today. Hard work gets you far, sure, but community, family, the relationships, and, the people who invest so much into you because they see potential in you, that I think is the golden ticket to succeeding. And yeah, so just the community is just awesome. And if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the public school system back home, because I was in the public school system, of course, everybody, just for seeing value and potential in me. Thank you so much, because you are the reason why I'm here today.
Oh, what a lovely sentiment. You are doing great stuff, making us proud all these miles away, and we're going to do our best to get you across this finish line. I used to got a couple years left in this chase for your doctorate, but I know that a lot of people are going to get started by messaging you about this. When are you going to start? Can people start doing this right away today? Can they? What's up?
Yeah. As early, I'm trying to schedule as early as next Monday. So in 3 days,
Wow.
try recruiting today. Hopefully I get some responses over the weekend for people who are interested. They can sign up for the link, which I believe, I cannot see the screen right now, but I believe, Brad, you are showing them the QR code and the survey link. But
It's
yeah, they
on
can
the
sign up
screen right
through.
now with us as you're talking.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, they can sign up through that. I'll look at the results probably Sunday night, and I'll get back to folks through email or through whatever preferred contact that they want me to contact them through. I will say, my family members, first cousins included, second cousins included, please do not sign up. I cannot interview you. If you know me or are very close to me, please do not sign up for the study. I just want to make sure that the results aren't biased or anything like that. So yeah, as early as next week is when I can start interviewing folks.
Awesome. Well, there it is. Chelsea King, you can see this. You can get yourself $50 doing this interview where Chelsea is trying to get her doctorate. This goes to her dissertation. And it's a study that involves you. If you're a Chamorro or Rafalawach out here in the CNMI or in Guam, and you're living out here, this is it. Even folks with the diaspora, but if you're if you're living somewhere else, but if you had lived most of your life here in the Marianas, you are good to go. So fill this out, give it a shot, and you can win all around. Thanks so much for being on the show with us. This has been great.
Yes, thank you so much, Brad, for having me on again. Couldn't have done any of this without you, truly. So thank you so much.
I feel smarter just having you on the show. So it's great. All right.
Thank you.
Well, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. We're going to have all this stuff everywhere. Everybody's already asking, where can I get this and all this other stuff. So hopefully you get a tidal wave of entrance. So good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, folks, we aren't going anywhere, but we are going to take a real quick break. We're going to get you the latest news update that's out here from the Associated Press, and we'll get you a sports update from Fox Sports as well. So here is your latest from the Associated Press, everything you've been waiting for to find out about the U.S. and all around the world right now.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is insisting the state must play a role in investigating yesterday's fatal shooting of a Minneapolis woman by an ICE officer.
People in positions of power have already passed judgment, from the president to the vice president to Kristi Noem, have stood and told you things that are verifiably false.
At the White House, Vice President J.D. Vance.
That guy's protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job. The idea that Tim Walz and a bunch of radicals in Minneapolis are going to go after and make this guy's life miserable because he was doing the job that he was asked to do is preposterous.
On Capitol Hill, Sagar Meghani reports the Senate's advanced a resolution that would limit President Trump's ability to conduct further attacks against Venezuela.
That sets up a vote on final passage next week, though the resolution has virtually no chance of becoming law, since the president would have to sign it if it gets House approval. Still, it's a significant gesture showing GOP unease after the weekend operation to seize Nicolas Maduro. 5 Republicans joined Chuck Schumer and all Democrats in advancing the resolution.
It's a clear rejection of the idea that one person can unilaterally send American sons and daughters into harm's way without Congress.
Vice President J.D. Vance and the White House are defiant.
It's not going to change anything.
The president says the 5 Republicans who voted in favor should never again be elected to public office. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
On Wall Street, defense company stocks rallied while the rest of the market drifted. The Dow gained 270 points, the S&P rose a fraction, the Nasdaq lost 0.4%. Jobless claims up slightly last week, and mortgage rates crept higher, a 30-year averaging 6.16%. This is AP News. Storms have hit Oklahoma with high winds and 2 possible tornadoes. And Karen Shamas reports Britain's bracing for a big one, too.
Storm Goretti is expected to hit Britain particularly hard as the nation already is in the middle of one of its longest cold snaps in years. Heavy snowfall and strong winds are expected, and weather authorities have warned could bring a risk to life. The brunt of the storm, coming in from the Atlantic, is set to be felt in central England, with as much as 12 inches of snow falling in just a few hours. Britain's National Meteorological Service has issued amber warnings for many parts of the UK. This means there's the possibility of travel delays, road and rail closures, flight cancellations, power cuts, and potential damage to property. Storm Goretti, which has been named by the French Weather Service, is expected to leave Britain's shores by Friday before impacting other parts of northwestern Europe. Karen Shamas, London.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
If you see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Fox Sports Update.
John Harbaugh is the best coach I know, best coach I've ever seen. You may say, okay, well, I'm his brother, so I might be biased, but as I told him, whatever team he goes to is going to be formidable, and I just hope it's in the NFC.
The voice of Los Angeles Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh, who said of his brother John, fired by the Ravens Tuesday, he'll be a head coach next year, will be playing against him in some sort of fashion. While John is being sought by several NFL teams, there are 7 who currently need a new head coach. Jim Harbaugh preparing his AFC team for a playoff game against the Patriots in Foxborough Sunday.
This is Ainsley Earhart. Thank you for joining me for the 52-episode podcast series, The Life of Jesus.
A listening experience that will provide hope, comfort, and understanding of the greatest story ever told. Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Todd Bowles will return to coach the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next season. Bowles led the Bucs to 3 straight NFC South titles before the team lost 7 of its final 8 games this season. And despite having finished with the same record as division champion Carolina, 8-9, still missed the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs said they are aware of domestic violence allegations made on social media Wednesday by the former girlfriend and mother of 2 children of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice. Dakota Nicole shared images on Instagram of her body bruised and wounded. She did not mention Rashee Rice by name, but stated the person who inflicted abuse over a number of years is the father of her children. Rashee Rice is currently serving a 5-year probation sentence from an incident in July of 2024 when he helped cause a multi-vehicle accident on a Dallas freeway. NBA trade, 4-time All-Star guard Trae Young dealt from the only team he has played for, the Atlanta Hawks, to the Washington Wizards for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. The reigning champion Thunder beat the Jazz in overtime, 129-125. 46 points for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Eastern Conference lead in Detroit is 28-9 after a Pistons 108-93 win over the Bulls. For more scores, stories, and features, go to foxsports.com. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
Hey, bro, can I grab your bush?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Right on. Thanks, bro. Hey, bro, can I grab your bush too?
Sure, bro. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Now I can grab my own bush. Saipan, it's time to grab your bush. Pick up a 12-pack of ice-cold bush, and you're in for more than just a refreshing beer. Every 12-pack gives you a chance to win exclusive bush gear and more. So don't wait. Swing by your favorite store, grab your bush, and join the fun. Because here in Saipan, the best moments are even better with Bush. Grab your bush today.
Shiny smiles all around, where happiness is found. It's the little things that make it true. Shiny smiles start with
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it Brad. You loved Brad. And then you totaled him. You two had been through everything together. 2 boyfriends, 3 jobs. You're like, nothing can replace Brad. Then Liberty Mutual calls. And you break into your happy dance.
If you sign up for Better Car Replacement, we'll pay for a car that's a model year newer with 15,000 fewer miles than your old one. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
As the day unfolds with laughter and cheer, Brad's got the magic that brings us all near. Sharing tales of hope, dreams that shine bright. Good morning, Marianas, together we ignite. So join the palm trees, we dance through the days. The rhythm and soul in so many ways. Together we rise through the moments we share. Good morning, Marianas, feel the love everywhere. Wake up to the sunshine in the morning light. Good vibes all around. Everything
Ena's Kitchen. If you don't, what are you thinking? Ena's Kitchen, we were just there the other day, and boy, do we love it. Today is the best day. They're all great days. True story. They are all great days at Ena's Kitchen. But the one that's going on today, their Friday lunch special, will blow you away. We should call them. I want them to be breakfast people. They don't do breakfast, but they would be the best breakfast. All the stuff that they make would be great. With just like, you almost take anything that they have, put it over some red rice, throw an egg on there, in addition with coffee. Dang it, Ena's Kitchen. It would be, I'm telling you, it would be awesome. And just hearing this music makes me think, my mouth is watering. It's that Pavlovian dog kind of thing going on. All right. Well, anyway, hey, thanks. Great to see you. Thanks for being in here with us, Mike. It's really great. And we've got a lot of stuff going on out here today and in the entire Marianas. Now, we were hoping that we could have got Landon today. Yesterday, we were going to get him in the afternoon, but yesterday was just so crazy. There was so much going on in here. That we weren't able to capture everything, unfortunately. But he is going to be traveling around, and we're going to hear from him next week as he gets to his next destination. So we're pretty excited about that. Let's find out. How about, let's do this. 1 second. Want to do meow? Okay, because I am ready for it. All right. Anyway, we've got my fingers typing a little bit too fast. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Okay. This is what we're gonna do. We are doing something a little bit different. We've got, first of all, we've got a couple of guests who are going to be joining us in studio here at 9:30. Looking forward to that. We're going to be talking about the deep sea mining here, and that'll be happening at 9:30. So we are going long today. Woo, what's up? But in the meantime, we're going to start talking about multi-sport. We've got a guest who is going to join us on the show. So let's get her on here. Let me see if I can't just get her a call. I wonder if I could give her a call on this thing. Can I do it the same way that we did the other one? Or are we just going to do a WhatsApp call? I think we're just going to do a WhatsApp call. Bam. She's typing right now. All right, so it's ringing. It's ringing. I just felt like ringing, Jenny. All right, here we go. We do have her on the phone. You guys don't know who I'm talking about, but you're about to. I don't know if she can actually hear me. I know for sure she can't see me, though. But let me just make sure she'll be able to see me or hear me. I got to change a couple of audio settings. You can hear me? Oh, but you know, it would definitely be helpful if I could hear you too. How about now?
I can hear you.
Oh, all right, there we go. I have been getting a little touch and go with my WhatsApp call. So I've been doing everything through Google Meets, and I'm like, I can't squeeze it in. I can't put it together that fast because I'm not that smart. I thought possibly I had a chance at doing it. But anyway, let's talk about the coolest person in Saipan right now who is on the screen right now. Denise Myers, it's so great for you to come out a morning after the end of the NFL season to come and celebrate and talk about the Buffalo Bills playoff hopes this season. I know you're a big football fan, and especially teams that wear red, white, and blue. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, definitely a fan of teams that wear red.
Hey, the Bills wear a red jersey too sometimes.
Rare, but.
Hey, great to see you. And I love all these photos behind you, by the way. That is such a great way of displaying all of them. What is just the smartest idea I've seen, and it's fun.
And it's thrifty. It's the way to go.
Hashtag thrifty. I'm all about it. Hey, so Denise, you are a part of so many cool things. I think about it like in the sporting world and all that other stuff. But you're a board member with this organization, the track, right? Is it?
Yes. So the Triathlon Association of the CNMI is what track stands for. And I am a board member. Is it echoing?
It is for you, not for me. I don't hear it.
Okay, excellent. And so we have coming up tomorrow our very first race of 2026. It is the Aqua Bike, which is exciting because it is swimming and biking, no running for those that don't love running as much as I do.
Are you?
We're gonna
You're.
have,
Oh wait, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
I'm listening to you, and I think I can hear you're getting your echo, right?
Oh, I am.
Yeah. So it's got to be difficult. I'll tell you what. You are awesome. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to send you a link on a Google Meet. I guarantee you're going to be echo free.
Okay, excellent.
All right. So we're not kicking you to the curb, but in the meantime, just rehearse the line. Go Bills.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Never.
All right. We're going to get Denise back on here in just a second, but we're going to set up a Google Meet with her right now. She is great. All right, here, Denise. All right, and when I get this on here, we're going to add something to it. It's called Add a Google Meet for Video Conferencing. Yes, we will. And I'm going to copy that. By the way, this is pretty cool. I could have done this pretty quickly. But anyway, now you guys know. In the exciting world of conferencing, this would be what would make this easier is if we ended up having like a producer for the show. That would be pretty fun. But here, so we're going to call her right now. But doing all this on the fly is pretty cool, I think. Yes, we want to allow the microphone and camera. I'm not sure that the camera is going to work, but the audio should just fine. All right, there's me. Now we just got to wait for Denise to pop in, and we should be good to go. Okay, let's admit one guest. Here we go, admit. Ooh. Boom. That should work. I know it sounds like I can hear you. Can you hear me?
So much better.
Awesome. So we're echo free in 2026. That's our commitment to you and our viewers. All right. Hey, by the way, so here she is again, Denise Myers, new and improved Triathlon Association of the CNMI. She's here to talk about this great event that's happening tomorrow morning. There's a lot going on tomorrow morning, but this one seems like it's the coolest. And we did a survey. All the multi-sport athletes said you are the coolest board member of the Triathlon Association.
I don't think that's true, but thanks for the hype. I appreciate it.
You got it. All right. So what is happening tomorrow? You said, walk us through the whole thing again.
All right. So it is bright and early. We'll be starting the first race briefing at 6 a.m. And so we'll be trying to start by 6:30. We have 3 races. There is the Aqua Bike, which is a 750-meter swim, and a 20K bike. But if that sounds long, no problem. We have a super sprint. And so that is a 500-meter swim and a 5K bike ride. And so anybody over the age of 10 is good to go for entering that. And then we have one more race, which is a kids aqua bike. And it's for 9 and under, and that is going to be a 100-meter swim and then a very short bike ride. I'm not sure on the actual distance, but it's going to be in the parking lot at Pow Pow. So doesn't matter if you want to go far or short, there are lots of options for you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think I could probably take those 9-year-old kids down. I mean, they're done. I could smoke those guys. But the other ones,
you think they're faster than you think? You'd be surprised.
It's hard for them to compete with a palm in their face. Yeah. But the 10, I didn't say I'm playing fair. The kids at 10 and up, though, that's where it's tough. That's where I got my challenges, I think. They've got a 500-meter swim and a 5K bike, and then the competitive adult race, 750 swim and 20K bike. I imagine that's, if you got a kid who's like 14, 15 who feels like they can handle that and crush it, they could probably do that too.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody can do any of the events. It's up to them. yeah, it's just different options depending on what you want to do,
Awesome.
what you're feeling up for.
So this is going to be at Pow Pow. Pow Pow is such a great venue for this for a couple of reasons. One, the water is great. You're able to do that shallow swim for the kiddos too.
Exactly. And we'll have volunteers in the water as well when the kids are swimming, just, for extra safety if anyone's worried about the swim.
Yeah, and the very beginning of the bike won't be fun because you got to go up that hill to get out of Pow Pow. But after that, it's all gravy. What is the course for the 20K and the 5K?
Yeah, so the 5K is from Pow Pow parking lot up to it's really close to the Hope Recovery Center.
Okay.
That, where that turn is, that's where it is, the turn for the 5K. And then the 20K is you go straight out to, like you're going to the dump, and then there'll be a turnaround point out there.
All right. How about, and then is that a 2-loop thing where you go to the dump and back and then go back out again?
I believe, yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. So here's the great part. It's mostly flat, so you can be happy
Exactly.
about that. But I remember back in the day, our 20Ks would be, you got to go out to Bird Island. So you got to work on those climbing skills. It helps you.
The
be a little
hairpin
mountain-
turn, that's ruthless.
It is, but if you're only doing the swim and the bike, it's not that bad. There's no run later, so it's pretty legit. But hey,
Yeah, that's fair.
But this is a great one. Like, again, the distance is the big thing for you if you're just trying it out for the first time. But it's flat relatively, and so it's a great opportunity for you to get comfortable with your bike if you're not already. And maybe you're a great runner and you're just not a seasoned biker. This is a great opportunity for you to do it. And what I love about up there, the traffic is not really a big deal also at that time in the morning.
Absolutely. There's rarely any traffic, and we're going to have people at the top of the drive, right at the top of the hill of Pow Pow, to stop people. So as they're coming out, they don't have to stop at the top of the hill, because that would be the only place that would be tough. Outside of that, it's all easy. It's such a beautiful area up there, right? With the cliffside and all the trees, and the birds will be singing that early in the morning. It's going to be great.
I love it. And then if you are a swimmer but don't want to be a biker, or you're a biker and don't want to learn how to swim, you have relay options open.
Absolutely. So yeah, you can tag team it. You can do one and then tag out your partner and they can do the other. So it's really, we try to make it as flexible as possible. The more that come out to enjoy it, the better. And we started this way with something, like you said, it's kind of easier than a lot of the triathlons, but it's to start the year off. So we're hoping we can get more people out to give it a try.
Oh, no, I love it. I called Robin. I'm like, bravo. You have a shorter option because, trust me, I know from back in the day when I used to do this kind of stuff a lot, I'm like, yeah, it's too short. It's not, you got to do longer. We're not going to get anybody. It's like, no, you got to remember, there's people out there who, hey, maybe you're fishing. You're trying to reel people in and get them hooked on all this stuff. And then you've also got the used-to-bees who might want to get out there and try it. And this sounds pretty cool. So all this.
Absolutely. I was one of those people. The bike used to scare me a lot. It sounds like forever. Even now, 20K, dang, that's still far. But it's really not. Once you get out there, it flies by.
Hold on. Let's see if we've got a call. I'm not sure. Hafidades on Tyrrell, you're on the show. Do you have a question for Denise? Oh, no. I guess they don't have a question for Denise. Must not be a Chiefs fan. So they can call back again. We'll send them a message. Just someone calling the show. By the way, and I have to let people know, because not everybody knows when they call that they're going right onto the air on that phone. That's not my regular phone that you message me on.
Okay.
This is the yeah, you're good on that one. But this is the show phone. So I'm like, hey, you got to know. You're going to be live. If you're gone, you're on. All right. So anyway, We were talking about the relays. We were talking about the distance. Talking about the used to be's, and that's why this thing it gets really exciting on Saturday. What time do people want to get there? What time do the races start and set up and all that stuff?
So the aqua bike and the super sprint aqua bike, the adult ones or older kids ones, those show up at 6 a.m. for the race briefing. So they'll go over details again about the race. They'll point out the buoys in the water, talk about some safety stuff, and then we're gonna start at 6:30 is our go time. And then the kids race, 8 a.m. is when we'll do the race briefing, right? Share information with them and kind of give some tutorials for them, depending on how long that takes. We're just going to get started as soon as we can after 8 for the kids race.
So we've got it on the screen. You've got a registration option online. Do you have to register online? Do you have to show up? Can you register if you just show up that morning?
You know, I think we'd much prefer if you registered online.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually have the answer to that. We probably won't turn you away, but the board's probably going to kill me for saying that.
Hey, well, that would be a great slogan. Hey, come on out to Triathlon CNMI. We probably won't turn you away.
No, I don't. I think if you come out, we will. But it's much preferred if you register online. It's $10 to register for the aqua bike, and the super sprint aqua bike, and then $5 for the kids race. So I don't think we were planning on having money and those type of things a day of, but we want people to come out. So
yeah, it's a great way to start the day. Even if you're not thinking about being a champion, it's a heck of a workout for a great Saturday morning. It's a great, well-supported thing where you can swim and you just leave your bike there prepared, waiting for you to get out of the water. You don't have to worry about your bike getting out of the swim, then unlocking your car and setting up your bike. And nope, you get to transition right away, head up the hill, get off to Raceland, and have some fun and meet some people along the way.
And there'll be lots of cheering. So if you're like, there'll be people to hype you up in the morning. I'll be cheering for everybody.
I love it. And so the other thing is, it's only $10, but this money goes to help raise some funds for some of the athletes and big things that we got coming up in the next couple of years, right?
Yeah, so the money goes to kind of several different things, everything from ordering medals for future events, as well as, some races have shirts or swim caps or different things. This one doesn't, but some of them do. And then the other thing is to go towards Tahiti in 2027 and to go towards, we're going to do some camps or trainings later this year. And so we'll go over like some bike skills, some swimming skills, all those type of things. And so the money just helps us generally operate.
Wow, that's great. So Triathlon CNMI. Now, Denise, you have these flowing red locks. When you come out of the water, does anybody confuse you or mistake you as a mermaid?
I've been mistaken for a mermaid a time or two, but I really like being in the water, so I don't mind.
So you're cool with being under the sea?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I just need to grow a tail. I wish I could hold my breath longer.
You just need to grow a tail. How many times in the history of humanity has that sentence been uttered by anybody in any language? I don't know, but I think it could be right here the first time on the show. All right, so Pow Pow Splash and Spin Aqua Bike. It's happening tomorrow. It is going to be a lot of fun. It's for adults. It's for kids. There's different distances for the kids, 9 and under. It's all going to be in the parking lot over there at Pow Pow, so it'll be safe and fun. For the older kids, 10 and up, and entry-level adults, 500-meter swim and a 5K bike. And then for the people looking for a little bit more, because They ate a lot tonight. They want to do a 750-meter swim and a 20K bike. It's all going to be up north, all the way up on Marpee side, and you can do it. $10 for the adults, $5 for the kids, at least for the littlest kids, all the kids events. The kids aqua bike, $5. The super sprint, if you're doing it as a team, by the way, it says $10. Is that $10 for the whole team or per person?
It's per person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, there's
That's
only
how
two
the
people.
system lets us set it up.
Yeah, it's blame it on the system. It's the injustice there in the system. Look how people I'm being repressed. All right, so anyway, that's it. It's $10. And again, we already heard this money goes to help the development of the sport and help send people off to crush it for the CNMI and other events, including Tahiti in 2027. It should be great. Denise, thanks so much for being on here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We have, you can find the race roster link. I'm guessing you probably have that. But then we also have several more events this year. So hopefully this is just the beginning for us.
Yes, so we've got it on the screen for everybody right now. But we're also going to put, we just popped it off the screen so that we can put that link in the comments, and we're doing it right now. That's so funny. All right, there you go.
Awesome.
Bam. There
Thanks.
Yeah, well, and thank you for being on the show. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, and have a pretty awesome day. Any other shout outs or acknowledgments or anything?
No other shout outs. Viva Marianas.
Woo. All right, Denise, thanks for being with us today. Have a great one.
Bye. Have a good one. Thank you.
All right. Look at that. What a great day we have. This is how I have the best life. All right, you guys. Well, hey, we're going to take a real quick break. Again, we have our guests are going to be coming in 9:30. We have folks who are going to be talking about deep sea mining. That is the big topic that everybody's been talking about the last few weeks, and it's only going to get more intense as time goes on. We've got Sheila Mabalta, who's going to join us. She's the chair of the Friends of the Marianas Trench. We're also going to have Amanda Dedicatoria with the Micronesia Climate Challenge Alliance. These folks have been very active in our region talking about this deep sea mining, and we're going to hear from them here this morning. Pretty cool, huh? So don't worry. I know it's a longer show than what you're accustomed to. I know, Brett, I don't know if I have the endurance. I don't know if I can hang on. Yeah, you're going to be fine. This is going to be pretty cool. We do have a new update from the Associated Press, so we're going to get that to you right now, and we'll be back with more. So just listen tight. Find out what's going on in the mainland and around the world.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Tensions in Minneapolis, where an ICE officer fatally shot a woman yesterday. Rebecca Santana's been on the scene for us.
We have a whole line of immigration enforcement officers, Border Patrol, and ICE, and they are facing off against protesters on the other side. There has been a lot of yelling, some jostling back and forth. We saw Greg Bovino, one of the Border Patrol chiefs who has been doing immigration enforcement around the country. We have a lot of people facing off with Border Patrol and immigration enforcement officers out here in front of the federal building.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz insists the state must play a role in the investigation.
When Kristi Noem was judge, jury, and basically executioner yesterday, that's very, very difficult to think that they were going to be fair.
Saka Magani on what Vice President J.D. Vance has been saying.
Renee Nicole Macklin Good's shooting is still under investigation, but Vance assigned his own blame.
The simple fact is, what you see is what you get in this case.
Saying while he feels very, very sad for her,
I can believe that her death is a tragedy, while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making.
Vance says the woman was brainwashed and a victim of far-left ideology. During a rare White House briefing room appearance, Vance defended the ICE officer whom he says acted in self-defense, and blamed the news media for portraying Macklin Good as innocent.
You should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The Senate has advanced a resolution that would limit President Trump's ability to conduct further attacks against Venezuela. NASA is cutting short a mission aboard the International Space Station after an astronaut had a medical issue. The agency did not identify the astronaut or the medical issues, citing patient privacy, but the crew member is now stable. And the NFL now has 8 openings for a head coach. The Miami Dolphins firing Mike McDaniel today. This is AP News. Seth Sutel has the AP Markets Report.
Major indexes ended mixed on Wall Street as gains for defense contractors were offset by losses in big tech companies. The S&P 500 barely budged on Thursday. The index is still near its latest all-time high. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 270 points. That's about 0.6%. The Nasdaq Composite fell 0.4%. Makers of weapons and other military equipment rallied after President Donald Trump said he wants to sharply increase government spending on defense. Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and L3 Harris Technologies helped lead the way. Several big tech companies, including NVIDIA, fell. Treasury yields edged higher in the bond market following some mixed data on the U.S. economy. Seth Sutel, New York.
Jobless claims up slightly last week, and mortgage rates crept higher, a 30-year averaging 6.16%. There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks
If
for
you
listening.
see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works. Because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Emma said to Pete, let's build a dream. From the waves and the stars and the sunbeam gleam. 1,000 hands, 1,000 oars. We'll bring back the ocean like it was before. History whispers, can you hear it shout? The wind's alive and it's calling out. 500 sails on the open blue, riding the tides like the ancients do. 500 sails with a story to tell, of courage and heart where the oceans swell. Pete laughed loud, said, count me in. Let's chart the course where the waves begin. The rowers dance where the sea meets sky. The spirit lives, it will never die. The horizon stretches like a drawn-out dream, and the past comes alive in the sunlight's gleam. 500 sails on the open blue, riding the tides like the ancients do. 500 sails with a story to tell, of courage and heart where the oceans swell.
All right, good morning, Marianas, and welcome back. It is 9:15 here on your Friday morning, January 9th, 2026. Hey, if you've been putting 2025 on stuff, make sure that you got it right. And if you're writing checks, be careful. You got to make sure you got the right year on there too. If someone's writing you a check, you got to make sure it's the right one on there as well. Hey, I know it. I've experienced it from both sides of it. Hey, all right. Well, we've got all kinds of interesting news happening, and one of the things that we're excited about is sports here in the Marianas. And we've got a new bullpen over there at Tonco Field. Now, why is that a big deal? Because we want to use Marianas as a home for sports tourism. We've had teams that have come out here in the past, but it's been a while since we had professional teams from Japan and Korea come out to use our facilities as their spring training or off-season training facilities. Well, one of the things they said that they needed was a new bullpen so that the pitchers can warm up while the other guys are using the field for everything else. Well, that is here. We've got it now. Thanks to the folks with MBA and Department of Corrections, their folks have been the folks who have been working hard on this to make it ready. And it's part of that rehabilitation program that Commissioner Torres has been doing since he got in over there at DOC. By the way, he's changing lives one inmate at a time. And folks who really want to make a difference in their lives can under what they're doing over there. I love it. You can't, you got a great person doing all this stuff and making positive motion for the folks who are in there for probably not great reasons. But that doesn't mean their lives are over, and they're learning that firsthand. And now the work they did while they're incarcerated, coming out to do that stuff in the community, is now going to make a difference by bringing professional athletes to the Marianas. And we got a story out of Korea from Yonhap News Agency, Korean Junong Daily. Dodgers player from the Major League Baseball is coming. Kim Hye-sung is coming. He's a member of the Dodgers, so Tobak Castro should be pretty happy about it. He's coming out to join the Korean national team for their training camp in Saipan ahead of the World Baseball Classic. How about that? They're going to be coming to Saipan on the 21st. And they're going to get going. The Korean Baseball Organization said that Kim's going to be there with all the other stars from Korea on Friday. So a couple of weeks from now, they'll be in here, and that's pretty dope. I can't wait to see when they're out here to see all this stuff. They got 29 players who are going to be coming out, and they're all based out of Korea. They've got some stars that we might not know from the KBO, but some folks that you might know who are out there in the mainland. You got Sung Moon, who's with the Padres. He's going to be out there as well. Padres general manager AJ Preller is pretty excited because they want to support their Korean-born player out here as well. The World Baseball Championship or World Baseball Classic is going to be March 5th to the 17th. So this is getting those guys ready before the Major League Baseball season starts. Korea is going to be playing a whole bunch of opening rounds. They're all going to be in Tokyo. They're going to be playing against Japan, Australia, Taiwan, and the Czech Republic. That's right, Martin. That's your guys. After the camp's done, they're going to end up having another camp in January in Okinawa, in February in Okinawa, and then that's going to be a great place for them to do it. So hopefully we'll be able to see some real exciting times over there at Tonco Field. Take some pictures, take some video. I don't know if they'll do all the autographs and all that other stuff, but for the tourists that are here, it should be a lot of fun. We'll try to get in and interview some of them, have them come over here if they got a chance, and we'll just set up shop over there, and it should be a blast. We're going to have professional athletes in Saipan competing, so gotta be excited about that. All right, well, we've got more things coming. Again, we're about 10 minutes away. We've got our guests coming in to join us to talk about deep sea mining stuff. Looking forward to that. Let's see where else we got. I got some other stuff for you. What else? By the way, that ceremony yesterday, the lieutenant governor threw out the first pitch in the bullpen. That was pretty cool. I know he's a big basketball guy. He played some national basketball over there in Guam, but then he was over here hurling out the first pitch in the bullpen yesterday. Pretty neat stuff. All right, what else do we have going on here in the meantime? We got a little bit of a bridge of a gap here. Gosh, you know, like some of the other things that we're talking about, there are some pretty heavy national issues that I don't think we're going to be able to fit in like 9 minutes of conversation. But, you know, it's stuff that we're going to talk about big time next week for sure. Speaking of next week, we have our reporters from the Washington Post who reported on the casino. They are going to be on our show to talk about their experiences. We're going to ask them about, you know, what it's like being a reporter anyway, who's free to do these in-depth journalism pieces when you're not tied down doing your day-to-day stuff like covering the courts or covering the DPS or covering a school system or something like that. When you're able to travel around the world and collaborate with other reporters from all over in different countries and all that, start to farm sources in new locations, meet with folks, and put together stories. And then, and what it's got to be like to just live that life, to be free and unfettered, and by local politics and all that other stuff. And then to get that support from a national, really international news outlet to do that. Then on top of that, you're able to learn about what's going on in different places. So we're also going to ask Shivani, you know, what'd you think about Saipan? What'd you learn about Saipan? And what'd you learn about the situation out here? We'll talk about the story that hit the newsstands last week. And it should be a lot of fun to have her on here. We've already seen some folks in the Marianas Press and in the Variety talk with the former director for the Commonwealth Casino Commission, where they gave a little pushback. They said, no, that can't be. There's no way. Everything was on the up and up with IPI. All right, well, that's a point of view. I don't know if that's shared universally, but when you're hearing from the people who ran it, that's pretty good. All right, so here we go. Awesome. Oh, wonderful. That is just wonderful. Thank you very much, Eric Mofness, for being the man, the myth, the legend, for getting that together for us. Man, I'll tell you what, he is just doing great stuff. He's a great volunteer for all the veteran stuff out here, for the Project Buddy Check 670, and then for our VFW post. We got a great team of people who are doing all kinds of things, but he is one of those standout guys. And for this big thing on January 26th, he already locked some stuff down for us that's going to help us reach more veterans later this month. So thanks, Eric. You're the man, dude. You are just the man. All right, what else do we got going on? You know, just making sure that we get this stuff all squared away. I'm just going to send a real quick message to make sure that we are good to go. I had some funny stuff that I could play for you, but I'm going to put a pause on that. It might not be the right one to do right now. But by the way, I know we talked about it yesterday, but if you go over to NMINewsService.com, our website, hoorah, you're able to see these stories. NMINewsService.com, where they got our video. You know, you saw Michael Gregory Tawai in the comment section earlier today. He's got an op-ed in there talking about the allowances for the offices for the senators and for the legislators in the House as well. Then you've got some stories out there, but the one I'm excited about right here, we spoke about it when it hit our email yesterday, but this is for Mount Carmel School, because Christine Torres Igisomar is going to be the new president for Mount Carmel, and she's just awesome. They made a great choice in having her in here this way. It's easier to see it a little bit. But she is going to be running the school, and so cool. She's the highest ranking tomorrow to be in the Coast Guard, period. And now she's going to wrap up her 24 years of service and move right into service again, this time to the community at the school for Mount Carmel. Gotta love it. And they couldn't have picked someone finer. Really excited for the school. And on top of that, I'm excited for Saipan and the CNMI because we get someone like Christine coming back to be a part of our community and doing things in our community. You know, you hear about people who are moving out, chasing the greener pastures, or maybe it's just getting so tough here that some people are moving away. But when we get real high quality folks, high trust, high performance folks coming back to the Marianas, you just gotta love it. And I do. So congratulations, you guys. You can find that story and more over there at nminewsservice.com and where you can get all your stuff. So nminewsservice.com, the sweetest smelling website in the world. All right, get back to here. So we've got, our guests are coming in just a little bit, and I have a suspicion. Let's see, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. All right, there we go. Enjoying another cup of coffee. Just reaching out to say, hey, you guys almost here. I know they were in Rhoda, traveling around, moving back and forth. They had to get back here too. A lot going on. Last night, because I had the VFW meeting, I wasn't able to get down to the American Memorial Park where they were putting on a presentation about the deep sea mining. And so I missed out for sure. So hopefully you guys were able to capture it or get down there and enjoy it. I'm sure that I think I saw before I head into the meeting that the guys from Marianas Press were broadcasting it, so you were able to still see it, which is pretty cool. I heard there might be something you'll just have to watch this one. I heard that there may be a special meeting next week that we'll be looking at to bring you live. It has nothing to do with deep sea mining, but it does happen to do with some of the most contentious issues out here, and we will be live for that one if it does happen. Brad, you're too vague. Yes, I am. I'm being purposely vague on that one. Hey, I'll tell you what, it's not vague, traffic. It's kind of stop and go, I guess. Let's give you an update on what's happened with traffic as we wait for our guests to make it in here. It is not too bad. Usually this time of day, traffic is pretty good. It is not the most busy time, but it is the time when the kids who did not get to school on time are getting there. You're looking live right now at traffic over there at Memorial Park by the hospital, and it's looking pretty good. Traffic all up and down Middle Road and Beach Road looking not too shabby. Got a little traffic over there by the museum and by the courthouse over there in Gualo Rye at the intersection by Gualo Rye Road. And a little bit of slowdown on Middle Road over there by Sushi Spot. My gosh, have you guys been to Sushi Spot? That place is awesome, and the people in there are great. You'll love the team, and you'll love the food and the people. Over there by Quartermaster Road, everything's looking pretty good as well. We've got some traffic over there by the intersection that matters at the place where connections matter, I-T-N-E. People over there trying to get a glimpse of Paul Guerrero and find out why is he so awesome. All right, the old AK intersection at the intersection shaped like an A is got some traffic moving north and west. We'll see where they're going to end up going. Traffic behind us is moving along. There's plenty of cars out there, but they are not slow. They're moving along just fine on Beach Road. Heading south, everything looking good in Chalampiao. Got some more traffic over there in Guangdong Hardware Town. For sure. Everything along Solomon Senior Martinez is pretty chill. Even there by Shell Dandan, where Solomon Senior Martinez meets the CMG, everything is good to go. Speaking of G, Galvin over there at the college, there's a little bit of traffic over there, but it's not too bad. It's actually just folks waiting at the light. Same thing over there in San Vicente. Just to take a quick look around the back, Island Road, yay, just got a great message. A little bit of folks making their way past the Rodeo Drive of Saipan, Capitol Hill Market, Senyu Market, and the New Sarah Market over there, the Merienda capital of the Marianas. Everything looking good by Ina's Kitchen. In fact, I could already smell lunch from here, and that brings us all the way back home, right there by the good folks over at American Memorial Park. Hey, speaking of getting around, you can get around with a brand new vehicle. Come on in. You can get around with a brand new vehicle from AK Toyota. In fact, they've got special stuff going on right now. Whether you want to get a new Toyota Tacoma, you get $3,000 down payment assistance and a free tent with every purchase. Even cooler, 3 years of free service. If you get yourself a Corolla, they've got $2,000 down payment assistance, 1 year of free insurance, and 3 years of free service. My gosh, free service makes me think I need to get myself a new car, and that's the one you want to be at over at AK. I love their service, and it's even better when it's free, right? I mean, you can't beat it. All right, our guests are here. We're going to take a real quick break. Don't go anywhere. Really, I promise we won't be gone for very long. So stick around. We'll be right back with our guests right after this.
Hey, bro, can I grab your bush?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Right on. Thanks, bro. Hey, bro, can I grab your bush too?
Sure, bro. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Now I can grab my own bush. Saipan, it's time to grab your bush. Pick up a 12-pack of ice-cold bush, and you're in for more than just a refreshing beer. Every 12-pack gives you a chance to win exclusive bush gear and more. So don't wait. Swing by your favorite store, grab your bush, and join the fun. Because here in Saipan, the best moments are even better with Bush. Grab your bush today.
Shiny smiles all around, where happiness is found. It's the little things that make it true. Shiny smiles start with treasure below. All the oceans glow, digging where the shadows grow. Gold and silver, the currents flow. Treasure below. Treasure rocks like coins in Poseidon's chest, churning dirt from the ocean's crest. Dreams of riches, but what's the cost? A whisper says some things are lost. Coral kingdoms, ghostly frost. Are we mining or paying the tax? Treasure below. Oh, the oceans glow, digging where the shadows grow. Gold and silver, the currents flow. Treasure below. Treasure below. Treasure below. Under the waves where the sunlight fades, a hidden world, a treasure brigade, metal mountains waiting in the blue. Machines are humming, they bite and chew. A dance with the deep, it's a risky clue. What secrets lie in the ocean shade? Pressure's rising, hear it sing. Below the surface, a glimmering ring. Treasure below. Oh, the oceans glow, digging where the shadows grow. Gold and silver, the currents flow. Treasure below. Treasure below. Rocks like coins in Poseidon's chest, churning dirt from the ocean's crest. Dreams of riches.
All right, Marianas, welcome back. For you in the YouTube world, you didn't notice anything other than a whole bunch of music after the news updates. For you guys in Saipan who are watching on Facebook, you're like, Brad, what the heck happened? The answer is, I'm not sure, actually. All I know is that we lost our Facebook feed at some point. And but we're back now, so you guys are just starting up, and we'll get it all done. But hey, again, if you've been watching on YouTube, hey, no big deal for you guys. Anyway, here we are. We're back again, and we've got one of the most interesting topics that we've been dealing with for the last few weeks. Something that nobody talked about because it wasn't an issue, because no one was saying, hey, guess what we're going to do? They decided that the deep sea mining is going to be the biggest thing. Whether we like it or not, we're talking about it. So I'm really excited because we've got some folks in our studio who are going to be helping us make some sense out of this stuff and find out where we are. Thankfully, there are people in this world who want to do this kind of stuff for us and help us out as we learn about everything that's happening. We have, coming back again, our chair for the Friends of the Marianas Trench, Sheila Babalta, welcome back to our studio. And for the first time, making her Good Morning Marianas debut, Amanda Dedicatoria. She's a board member for the Micronesia Climate Challenge. Thanks so much for being here.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
What an honor it is to be here. Thank you so much for bringing us on.
No, it's awesome. I love, this is such a big topic, and people need to hear about what's going on. And by the way, you guys, thanks for being here. You are like propeller setters. I don't know if you flew here on propellers when you got from Guam to Saipan, then back to Rota, or if you just went to Rota, and then you got Tinian after this stuff. Do you pick up frequent flyer miles when you're doing all
Star
this?
Marianas, please.
I'll be honest, I didn't know it was Friday. So I don't know what day it is. I just know that on Monday, the folks at the Micronesia Climate Change Alliance were just like, "Are you ready? We're gonna put you on this Marianas tour." And I was just like, "Okay, let me get some cat food." So,
Well, you eat light.
Oh yeah, I love my fish. So yeah, it has been a wild, rejuvenating, beautiful ride thus far. Micronesia Climate Change Alliance, in collaboration with Friends of the Mariana Trench, which Sheila, my good friend, is representing, along with organizations like From Luta for Luta. We're talking about frontline, community-based organizations who are really addressing this issue with our communities to make sure that everyone is informed, as many people as we can with the amount of time that we have, is informed on this issue.
And I like that you guys are making sure that we don't discuss this stuff on an empty stomach, because you guys brought donuts from Galaxy that we're going to enjoy along the way too. So this is great. Hey, so how about we do this a little bit? And by the way, so it's your first time here, as I'm kind of a one-man band. Don't worry if I'm not looking right away. You're going to see me set some stuff up over here. So I'm totally locked into what you're doing and what you're talking about. But I want to set up some cool stuff. And if you guys have other stuff, you want to point us to some references and stuff online, we'll be able to do all that cool stuff too. But I'm so stoked that you guys are here. I got to see, I was able to catch Tomas. They did the Marianas Press feed when you guys were in Rota, so I got to watch a bunch of that. I couldn't watch last night because I had my VFW meeting, couldn't make it. But bam, we got all this fun stuff today, and we're doing a show in here tonight, so I can't even go to Tinia.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild and crazy and fun and all that. But let's, since it's your first time here, maybe can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then talk about the Micronesia Climate Change Alliance?
Yeah, of course. Hafaday Zantiro, everyone. My name is Amanda Dedicatoria. I am from the island of Guahan, Filipino, born and raised. Such an honor to have been raised by the beautiful waters and the beautiful people of the Marianas. I want to say that it is an honor to be here in your home, right here from the studio in Saipan, but I also do want to apologize that we are meeting on these terms amongst the pressing issue that is the U.S. government pushing to mine our beautiful ocean. I am a science communicator, which essentially means that I am a storyteller. I go to scientists, I ask them about what they're studying, and I bring those stories back to our communities to make sure that everyone is informed on the research that is happening in our community. This, being in this field has allowed me to go on 2 deep sea research expeditions, including one within and around the Mariana Trench Marine National Monument. I have seen your waters. They are beautiful, amazing, vast, and ancient. As part of the Micronesia Climate Change Alliance, we are a climate justice nonprofit who's committed to uniting and uplifting Micronesian communities to create culturally centered solutions that protect and heal our sacred islands, waters, and peoples. As an organization, we are against deep sea mining.
Well, at least somebody says they're against it. This is something that you probably already heard quite a bit about here, is that, in Guam, we've already got a clear-cut answer about, what people think about it from the elected leaders. If you've heard, it's from the top, from the governor all the way down to senators and even the U.S. congressman who's out there. You've heard that there is a definitive position. Out here in Saipan, we haven't really heard it from our elected leaders yet, but you're going out and you're hearing all this stuff now from the community directly. And have you had some feedback now? You heard a bunch in Rota last night at American Memorial Park as well. Can you share a little bit about some of the stuff you heard here locally?
Yeah, in Luta and Rota, we connected with, as part of our tour, we've been connecting with various communities within the Marianas on each island. We've been connecting with students, and as well as community members with our climate cafes. And our experience on Rota in Luta was amazing. Seeing just the dawning realization and remembrance in these students' eyes about the beauty and the vastness and just the ancient knowledge that their ancestral waters offer them has been beautiful. We were at the Rota town hall meeting, and we heard these, just a majority of these poetic and beautiful testimonies from the community members from this island that talked about how important it is to be responsible stewards of the beauty and abundance of this region. Last night at the sort of community meeting that the Northern Marianas College proposed, there were a lot of questions. What harms could we potentially face as a region, as the community in the Marianas, could we be facing? There was a panel that was filled by Dr. Sean McDuff, who is from the Mariana Trench Marine National Monument. There was Lawrence Waddell from the Pew Research Center, as well as my good friend, Dr. Jeffrey Drazen from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, who is a deep sea fish ecologist who provided so much knowledge about potential harms and the potential harms that we could be facing as a community. And I do want to just emphasize that deep sea mining has not been undertaken commercially at all. So if this process proceeds without our attention, this would be the first case of commercial deep sea mining in the world.
Well, so I know that there's two big things that were going on, because again, I have looked into this zero before this whole thing came up. Right? It's all of a sudden I got some heads up from some folks locally. Hey, have you heard about this? This was, I think, October, around the time when we did that story about the guy who was doing that illegal dumping here. I had some folks in and around those circles saying, "Hey, this is big, but have you heard about this?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." So they sent me some stuff about it. And then all of a sudden, we've got till December 12th to get everything done. And they're like, well, that's pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to get all that stuff done? So now what I learned about it since then is that, I saw that it's the Clarion-Clipperton zone.
Clarion-Clipperton zone?
Yeah. And that got me wondering, everyone talks about the EEZs and all that stuff. I'm like, well, who owns that? So how does anyone oversee it? So they got a plan for that. Now this is in our EEZ out here, so at least they're doing it through the U.S., but it seems kind of odd to not include anybody from the local community to be a part of that conversation. And I think that's the part that got me, aside from all the environmental stuff, right? But that one, it doesn't seem like we really have a real seat at the table for this one.
Thank you so much for vocalizing that. When this request for information that the U.S. Bureau of Ocean Energy Management released, it was in November. This was during the holiday season. This was near the end of a government shutdown. With us as community members having to deal with the holidays, and there's less capacity for folks here to pay attention to this, let alone try to be informed about it. Right? And even with the 30-day extension that we received until January 13th, our time, there's just not a lot of time to really respond to this with the care and attention that it needs. But Sheila, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Brad, for having us over. Sheila Babalta here from Friends of the Mariana Trench, born and raised here on the island of Saipan. Love being from the Marianas. I'm so proud to be from the Marianas. And the point that you bring up is something that I have been engaged with, I've been advocating for. It's uplifting Indigenous voices, it's centering our stories and our culture, reminding ourselves and those around us and those governments that we're in relationship with that we are the stewards of this place. And we have a sacred responsibility to protect our oceans and our lands, to think about the type of ancestors we want to be, that we are ancestors in the making. And this relationship with the U.S., in my experiences so far as a former legislator, as an advocate doing work in our region, in our community, here locally, of course, and internationally, is that we really could use this time to reflect on the relationship that determines the processes that we participate in, right? We don't have a say with how many comments would make a difference. What makes a substantive comment? When is the due date? We don't have a say in any of that. And we are, unfortunately, always at the other end of the stick, where we are just informed, we're notified, right? We're not at the table. We're not in the planning phases or in the dreaming phase of what a realistic, sustainable industry or economy looks like for us, that fits our population, that fits our lifestyles and our cultures, that acknowledges our relationship with the environment, that uses our resources sustainably and responsibly. And so, because of our relationship with the United States, because we're a U.S. territory, because I do work with Right to Democracy, a national organization that connects U.S. territories, these are conversations that are now rising to the surface. There are more discussions happening around the U.S. territories, in U.S. Congress. I mean, we did just see the Territorial Caucus formed in U.S. Congress. So now there's a caucus for U.S. territories that didn't exist before. And so the territories can gather, they can discuss issues that they face as a territory, right? And our 5 territories are...
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
Oh my God. So American Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, CNMI, and Guam.
Guam. Bullseye. Bingo.
A+++. Have a donut.
Yeah, yes. I'm going to get too many of these questions right if we keep getting donuts. But so that's why I think it's great. I like to see that it seems like they're evolving in the right direction, at least as far as that goes. And I hadn't thought about this part, though, until listening to you speak about the processes and all that stuff. If you've got an organization, a federal organization called the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, makes sense to have people in there from the ocean places. Like, I think someone from Kansas might not be the expert, but even when you think about how you set up an organization like that, if you're purported to be a republic made of all these different places from all over, you'd want people from all over in those decision-making processes. So even before we get to an issue where we're having to react to this stuff quickly, and maybe way too quickly or
Right.
not fast enough because of how they're doing it, but having that be built into that kind of stuff, where again you've got folks. Well, I mean, the West Coast, they're just as oceanic kind of folks, even though they're there and they've got way more land. But like Hawaii and American Samoa and us and Guam, it makes sense. And that's just from this side, not to mention over in the Atlantic and the Gulf states and all of that stuff too. It would make sense if it's all built in with that, to have that kind of cultural component as well. I had not, I mean, although I think we should have a seat at the table for when things get presented, we should be part of the table. I mean, even before that even happened, they could solve a lot of problems by starting from a better spot at the beginning. Wow. Now this one, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I know you were kind of just grazing the surface of the other issues that can be a part of all this stuff, with the other organizations and all that. But in this one in particular, I mean, it's hard to attack all of them at the same time, but this whole idea of the mining in here, I think
with the Climate Alliance and with the Trench, the Friends of the Marianas Trench, and all the folks that you aligned to get in here and talk about this stuff. You could talk about like the ecological damage that could be done out here. And so I was a part of that webinar that was done, it was like a month ago or so now, right? And I wish I could have been there last night to hear that. But I think the biggest thing is that it's not a proven thing anyway. Even if it was proven, you can really get into it. But, you know, maybe can you talk to our viewers a little bit about some of the things that are like the most troubling about it, at least from the environmental side?
So, for those who are not aware, deep sea mining is the process of extracting mineral resources from below 200 meters below the ocean surface. It is a relatively new industry, so deep sea mining has not been undertaken commercially. So if this process proceeds without our attention, this could be the first case of commercial deep sea mining in our world. And I think that is important to think about, because folks from our community have been asking me, well, what are the harms? What could we be facing? And I feel so bad because we don't know, because this has not happened to that scale. There have been deep sea mining tests that have been done in an area called the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, as you mentioned before, but they're just tests that don't show the cumulative effects of a deep sea mining operation that would be in operation for almost a year. We have not seen any studies recording that sort of magnitude of potential harm. Now, when it comes to the sort of mineral resources that the U.S. Bureau of Ocean Energy Management is interested to in regards to this request for information, we are talking about two resources: ferromanganese crust, which forms on the tops of these ancient and beautiful sea mountains. And they're formed by these minerals that are like suspended in the water. And over millions of years, they settle and form this dark crust on these sea mountains. And these sea mountains are so important because they are engineers in our ocean, engineers of flow. If I'm across from you at the beach and I push water towards you, that water is going to go above you, to the side of you. And if we think of currents, when they when they flow against a deep sea mountain, they do the same thing. They flow over it and around it, and within that current, there are nutrients, food for the fish that we eat in the form of plankton, and all of this detritus that is nourishment for the fish that we eat, our communities, our children. And so when you disrupt this sensitive ecosystem, these machines, which are the size of buildings, which grind the tops of these sea mountains, you may potentially get these sediment plumes that go into our water column. And then those sediment plumes contain toxic heavy metals that could possibly contaminate the fish that we eat. And like we said, as we covered, those sea mountains are engineers of flow. So that means that these toxic sediment plumes could potentially be drifting around for at least 60 miles. And if we're talking about the Marianas region is so special because we have some of the largest and oldest sea mountain systems in our world, as well as the densest sea mountain systems. In the request for interest area alone, there are almost 150 sea mountains. These sea mountain systems are highly interconnected. They influence each other. And they're beautiful. I've seen them in person on my expedition within and around the Mariana Trench Marine National Monument. There was one shallow sea mountain, like a very tall one, and it had this thriving coral reef, absolutely beautiful. There were scientists who were with me who cried because they had never seen a healthy coral reef before. There were fish, thousands of fish, some which are key fishery species. And that's just for that one resource, for ferromanganese crust. Now, if we go into polymetallic nodules or manganese nodules, these go by several names. These are sort of potato-shaped rocks that form on the seafloor, that is really flat. There's a lot of really soft sediment. And so if we think of like the process that created that ferromanganese crust, it's similar. Minerals suspended in the water. Over millions of years, they form these potato-shaped rocks. These manganese nodules, these nodules are vital habitat for deep sea corals, for anemones, for crinoids, which are relatives to starfish. There are sea cucumbers that live in this area. There's life down there, and it is ancient and vast. Some of those deep sea corals are thousands of years old. There are sponges that are made of glass that are also thousands of years old. And this is very much a climate issue because the ocean acts as the lungs of our world. It stores so much of our carbon. At these depths, these very cold and dark and deep depths, carbon is more soluble. And when we disrupt these ecosystems, we don't know how it could affect us. With the ocean being our great climate regulator, the ocean is the reason why we have the days that we have, why we don't have blistering hot days or erratic typhoons.
You know, I was having this conversation with my good buddy Angelo yesterday, and I was talking about, like, I think the way it's maybe easier for people to turn a blind eye to this one is because we don't know anything about the ocean, relatively speaking, compared to everything on the land. Where they say we know more about the moon or Mars than we know about the ocean. And we don't see it, we don't experience it. But something that we do see and experience all the time is, like, on the land, deharvesting all the trees. And, you know, like, those, I think of those as the lungs of the planet, right? And you could see what happens. So they've made they being like the timber companies and all that, made the agreements, if you will, to at least replenish their forests, because they know that it'll take away their business anyway. But it's still, they're deharvesting all those, or, you know, they're deforesting all over the place in the Amazon and all that stuff. And it's terrible. You think about it like, holy crap, what's going to happen? You think of the Lorax, you know, even for that. But for this one, like, how do we get people more active about this? Because if that's something that's happened on land where people could see it and you can experience it firsthand, how do you get people more interested in this? You know, where they're not saying, well, it's so far away and it's so deep and all that stuff. It's not really going to affect us and all that stuff. Actually, I haven't heard that from anybody, but it almost seems like that's kind of that passive attitude that a lot of folks are taking to it, because I looked at the number of comments that American Samoa got, and they got a ton in a short amount of time. And we're just not getting that same kind of reaction here, and I don't know what the cause is. Or what do we have to do to get people more active about it?
Yeah, those are all amazing questions. I'm going to answer it in several ways.
I'll give you a million questions at a time. So.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Abundance, right? That's our story of being here in the Marianas. I want to say that there's already knowledge of the deep ocean, of the ocean that caresses and holds our islands. And it lives in the knowledge, in the bodies of your community members, in your seafarers, your navigators, who use the waves and the stars to find their way. I have heard stories of navigators knowing where sea mountains are because of the way the water flows in that area, because birds use sea mountains as migratory waypoints. It affects so much within our world. So I wanted to put that out there, that right now in my role in this conversation, I'm not an expert. I'm someone who's just sharing the knowledge that I know to bolster the knowledge that already exists in your community as people of the ocean. My second thing is that this is a process that does not stop at the comment deadline next week. We all have a responsibility to share the beauty and abundance, the knowledge of our ocean with each other, and to take care of it. And this is a process that extends very much so beyond that. If you notice, the Mariana Trench is very much a part of all of our lives. We feel it in so many days of our lives. The Mariana Trench itself is a relationship. It is two tectonic plates, the Pacific plate being older and denser, it's sinking, and under the Mariana plate, which is younger. And so those 2 points of relationship creates the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of our world. And because you have this friction between two tectonic plates, you get volcanoes that form at areas of this friction. You get earthquakes. Every earthquake you have ever experienced while you have been in the Marianas is you being in touch with the Mariana Trench. Right now, in Saipan, on this beautiful island, we are just more than 100 miles away from the trench. And if you look at a map of the Marianas region, you'll see that the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of our world, so ancient, is crescent-shaped. And if you look at the islands of the Marianas, it is also crescent-shaped. And that is because the processes that made the Mariana Trench are the very processes that created the islands that we live on, the islands that we love, and have made a home for in our lives. It is very much all a part of our lives. We are in this beautiful place that is connected to everything.
Man, I love your voice. I can listen to you talk about anything. I'm telling you, this is our first time we got to meet in person and everything. And as I am active, my wheels are turning as I'm listening to you. And I'm like, I don't know what that documentary is going to be about, but I want you to voice it. Like, that's 100% it. I love the way you enunciate and you bring this emotion and like every word that you talk about seems like it's just so genuine. I love listening to it, and great delivery. I'm a big fan. So, all right. So now let me ask you about this. So told you about that conversation with Angelo yesterday. So him and I, we have a lot of common ground on a lot of stuff. I am not in favor of this deep sea mining thing, but when I think about it in terms of like the way you were talking about the seamounts, the grinding, like, oh, what a horrible disaster if we lost anything like that. And all the plumes that would come after that and all that. And even if they don't have all that saying that this is a definite, yeah, but to lose that kind of habitat and wildlife, these ancient things, things that have been together longer than we have, would be an absolute tragedy. The other part of it, from my layman's kind of thing, is I saw that thing from the Impossible Metals guy. Now, I know they're just a company, and they're going to say, like, hey, my widget is better than that widget, and this is why you should do it, and all that stuff. You buy a timeshare, all that kind of stuff. But what their proposal was, it's the only one that I've seen so far, right? It doesn't mirror some of the presentations that we've seen so far about, like, the devastation of them just kind of wholesale dredging everything up and leaving disaster and destruction in their wake. This one looks like they're just picking and grabbing some stuff along the way. Mm-hmm. They say that they would leave like 94 to 96% of all those nodules behind, and that would be good enough for them, which, by the way, I mean, they're a business. You would think that there would be more in there. I've got tons of questions for them. Like, what kind of oversight would they really have? It's not like there's an office that can just like open up the door and drive down to that site and say, yep, they're doing it the right way. The ocean is going to start attacking their equipment right away anyway. So what are you going to do when these things have problems? Like all these, lots of other questions. Mm-hmm. But specifically with regards to their process of doing that little grabbing some of those nodules, seems to me, again, just a regular dude, seems way less invasive than cutting down a forest or strip mining somewhere. It doesn't seem to me like that little piece of it, if that was the way they were going to do it and it was going to work out the way they thought, doesn't seem as bad. And I don't know if that's a great thing, but can you walk me through like that, the thought process on something like that?
I need to take a long sip of water just to answer this question. All right.
No, then I get to listen to that voice again.
Oh, thank you. So, Impossible Metals, I've seen the demo video of their sort of remote vehicles. So, using AI technology, Their robots would scan the seafloor to see what nodules would be suitable to be harvested. And using that AI technology, they would identify whether or not there's an organism that the robot can see. And if the robot sees an organism, an animal, then supposedly they would not harvest that nodule. Now, when it comes to manganese nodules, it is important that in that language that, oh, if the robot sees life, then they won't harvest it. When it comes to manganese nodules, like I said, the organisms that live in this habitat are extremely slow growing. There could be life there, and there has been life recorded within the cracks and crevices of manganese nodules, such as these amazing worms. In parts of the world, there are species of octopuses that lay their eggs on these nodules. So who's to say that this AI technology is precise and accurate enough to determine whether or not there's life in every single one of those nodules? Another thing is that Impossible Metals, as we have talked about, is a company that was founded in 2020. It is 6 years old. Now, and they've only done their first sort of open water tests in 2024. I think a better questions to kind of be asking during this time is this a company that has our best interests in mind? Because when it comes to these sort of resources, these mineral resources that there is an interest in, these are not renewable. We are talking about these ecosystems that may not recover in our lifetimes, or our grandchildren's lifetimes, or their grandchildren's lifetimes, the generations beyond us. A question that we could ask ourselves is, what are the types of ancestors that we want to be? With these resources, I say resources in very loose terms. A better term is that these habitats, these sea mountains, these manganese nodules are our relatives because they have provided to us so much abundance. They have provided to us the beauty and the majesty it is to be people of the ocean, the fish that we eat, the air that we breathe. Have you breathed more than 5 breaths, Brad, throughout your entire life?
Oh.
Can you count?
Yes.
Yeah. If you have every 5 breaths that we have ever breathed, that we are breathing right now, that we will ever breathe throughout our lifetimes, has been gifted to us by the ocean. If you go to the beach and you see the way that the light dances across the water, you cup some of that water in your hands, you're holding millions of lives, these plankton that use photosynthesis to create the air that we breathe. Our lives are connected to the ocean as our beautiful ancestor. And I say ancestor because all of life, everything, the trees, the birds, us, was all created in the deep sea. So when we're having these conversations about these sort of commercial interests, we have to think about, well, what is the ocean to us? What does it mean to be a person of the ocean? What does it mean to be a steward of the beauty and abundance that already exists around us? And how can we cultivate a future together that is able to hold all of our dreams and care for all of us? What is true wealth? Me and Sheila were actually talking about this on the way here. We were drinking fresh coconut juice harvested from her family's farm, and it was so nourishing. And I was just like, man, money can't buy this. What is a few dollars in my pocket to being loved, to being cared for, to being nourished by the land and its people?
I love all of it. It resonates with me. It makes sense to me, and I can feel it. But even if we remove that company, just that process, and I think you pretty much addressed it though. But like even that process, it doesn't seem still like that part, that little. If that was a company that's been around for 50 years and it was proven, which by the way, it's not been proven and it's not been tested, and they're only been around for
plus years now, ish. So that's taken a lot of that out of it. But just like the process of the two, to me, I'm trying to think about like if the idea of losing some life on some of those things, on those small levels and all that stuff, doesn't seem like they chase away wildlife out of forests, like things that live in trees and all the other, and that's horrible, right? This one just doesn't seem as impactful, at least the way they presented it in the nicest way possible. That's the one that everybody's supposed to like. So, but I get that. I definitely understand it and I appreciate it. Is it a bit, let me think of the best way. I know where I want to get to in the question, but I want to say it in a way I think is more representative. The idea of not taking anything at all in a mining process. We grab the fish from the sea, nourishes us, and it's part of the bounty and all that. Wouldn't these minerals fall in that same thing if we did it responsibly? If we took what was given to us in that same kind of responsible nature?
So you have a phone, I got a phone, you got computers. Sometimes they break down. And these minerals are in electronic wastes. Shouldn't we be looking at the ways in which we can repurpose the waste that we already have to make it more circular? Do we always have to take? That is the question, because if we take, there are consequences. In my phone, there are the minerals and the sort of resources that are of interest. What if we looked at other avenues? So a lot of these minerals there's an interest in them because they could be used to build batteries for renewable energy, but also defense and military equipment. And when it comes to sort of like renewable energy, the technology and the science is already moving away from the minerals that are of interest when it comes to the U.S. Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. We're looking at, I believe it's sodium ion batteries right now. The technology right now is shifting. Why are we looking to the ocean for these resources? Personally, I can't really fathom it.
By the way, there's a lot of free puns in there, fathom and the depths and all that other stuff.
I'm an ocean person.
That's awesome.
Gotta shout outs. I'm looking at the beautiful ocean right now.
Isn't this the best?
Yeah.
I know. That's why, like, any of that destruction stuff, anybody who would want to do any harm to the ocean, to me, they don't understand. And I could see, like an us versus them for some of those things for people who've never been out here. The thing I think that irks me the most about the whole process, not being, I think I'm an average kind of conservation kind of person where I'm not all the way in on like nobody should eat an animal because I love them because they're delicious, but not all of them, right? But to the point where if someone was going to do some terrible stuff out here, then I would not be a fan of it. The other one is though, the concept of other people making those decisions that aren't from here at all. I think that's the hardest pill for me to swallow on this whole thing, and that we got that crazy tight timeline just to leave comments, if nothing else. They got over 76,000 comments for American Samoa, and they're pursuing it anyway. What's our next step after January 12th? I mean, what if people are passionate about this? What can we do next?
Yeah, thanks, Brad. I would also like to add that what you stated earlier, right? What you and Amanda were just speaking of earlier about the type of technology that can potentially be less impactful, less harmful to mining in the ocean. None of that has been tested, like you said. It came from the company, right? Mm-hmm. They are like 6 years old. Deep sea mining is not a new topic that is being discussed internationally. I mean, why don't we get the technologies and the processes, the enforcement in place before we rush through any type of process that could harm us 100% for generations to come, right? It's like this sense of urgency that is imposed upon us as if we must act now and we must support deep sea mining and we need these minerals. Like that poverty mindset, that scarcity mindset of we need to do it now, we need to be rushed, we need all these things that we don't really need. We don't really need them. You know, I go back to defining our values all the time of like, what do we truly need in the Marianas to live a rich life, to experience a quality of life? What does quality of life mean for us? And if the technology can be proven to be less harmful, then we will begin speaking down that path. But as of now, because it has not been done commercially anywhere in the world, because there are no models, economic models, numbers for us to talk about what is the true risk and what is the true benefit to the people, right? What are the types of jobs? What are the types of revenues we're looking at? What is this 1% profit? Like, we can throw out anything in the air right now. And none of it sticks because there's nowhere in the world we can rely on for accurate data. And it's just not worth it for us in the Marianas to be the sacrifice zone, to be the testing zone where all this happens and then they take the industry elsewhere. And we don't see any of the profits, we don't see any of the benefits, but we are burdened with 100% of the negative impact, right? And so I think the process is problematic. The time frame is problematic. You know, just the entire experience of how it's being rolled out is so frustrating for me personally. And so our next steps with the deadline coming up, we shared resources with you, right, that you'll be posting online.
Yes.
We have our petition that has over 3,000 signatures from the U.S. territories, from our international allies, opposing deep sea mining. We have the nonprofit sign-on letter. So if you're a nonprofit organization, you can sign on to this letter. We also have a resource document that has a bunch of amazing links to articles, to studies, to interviews. I mean, it's a great resource document that was put together by Friends of the Mariana Trench that's publicly available. And we also have a guide that can help you create and submit a comment on the public register. Now, the register hasn't been updated since January 6th. Shout out to Angela Villagomez for always keeping an eye on this. You know, it's amazing how we at the Friends have an expansive network. We have a passionate board, and Angelo, as a founding member, has been such a supportive and pivotal, essential part of the engagement the Friends have been leading with deep sea mining. So shout out to Angelo. The register hasn't been updated since January 6th. And, you know, I believe that comparison is the thief of joy. And so
True.
If we keep like comparing ourselves to the experience of American Samoa, I think that is a fair comparison. But our 60 days was during the holiday season. And that's very different, especially for us here, where we are a largely Catholic community, where we're a very community-oriented and family-oriented place. We have so many gatherings and obligations, and the 60-day period total that we had to respond to this RFI was just so full, right? And on top of that, substantive, unique comments matter. And we're ready to support people who want to submit public comments that might not be so easy to access. So we're here, we have the resources. Thank you, Brad, for sharing them. But those are the different ways that you can get involved. And one very, very simple way is just to simply share something on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok that is related to deep sea mining, related to the experience that's happening here. You know, this relationship that we have with the United States, it has determined this process, right, that many of us feel we have no control over, which is valid. But at the end of the day, this is our home, and this is our responsibility. And generations from now, we have to hold the vision that generations from now, our children and our grandchildren will be swimming safely in the ocean, fishing, gathering coconuts, papayas, and mangoes from our trees, you know, living a life that is rich, that is peaceful, and that is worth protecting. And so I think as a community, holding that vision is a key part of the advocacy, because we all love this place, but we also have to think about the kind of lifestyle that we want to support. And I hear the fear, I hear the concerns around our economic recovery. I hear it, and I live here, so of course I feel it too. And at the same time, it has really invited me to adjust my lifestyle and my expectations of what my consumption looks like, of how much, you know, I spend on things that I don't need versus the time I spend with my family or at the beach or just reading a book. And those are shifts in our lifestyle that are sustainable and that can help protect our environment. And so the type of industries and the type of economies that make sense for us here is a good part of this conversation as well. Because in our history, we have depended so much on major economic and industrial corporations and industries that are so big, right? We talk about the casino, the garment industry, tourism. Like, these are really big. They're hard to track. They're hard to enforce. Do they make sense for us? Like, what type of industries make sense for us that we would be proud to be a part of? We would be proud to work for and with. We wouldn't need to outsource labor so much. What can we handle? I mean, those are all conversations that come into the fold as we talk about deep sea mining, because we're talking about economics. We are talking about environmental impact. We're talking about political relationships. We're talking about international relations, right? Like, it's pretty amazing how one subject, one issue, can unpack so many things that are connected to our way of life that we don't often have spaces to talk about. And so thank you for having us on.
You got this space.
To talk about it here. We appreciate it, Brad. Thank you so much.
I tried to keep it more to the deep sea mining thing, but you're right. You know, about how many things are packed into just this one issue, and how all those other ones play a big part in it. I know I have a lot of thoughts to trade back and forth on a lot of that stuff, but wanted to try to. I didn't want to indulge in that conversation necessarily until, you know, we really get the point across about mining bad. You know, like that's it. You know, like that's kind of like the real sledgehammer on this one. But I would love to talk to you about all that other stuff. And you know, I know we're going to have some disagreements on it, but it's not like a deal breaker for us or anything. But I think it's a good, healthy conversation we end up getting to have. Because just in general, not just these things, too many of our friends end up only talking like in a closet to themselves and hearing that same stuff, you know, the echo chamber stuff, and having a bigger, healthier conversation because, man, I love you. Like, you are such a great person. Just because there's just some things that we're not, like, perfect on with some of our takes on stuff, doesn't mean that we wouldn't fight for each other for anything here and help each other through anything that happened here. And I think you see some of the stuff that happens on the bigger picture, regionally, but definitely nationally. People are losing those connections to each other because of not having those conversations. So every time you got something, you're here. You're the golden ticket winner for this place. Anything you guys. And you are our new superstar here too. It's so great to have you here. I would love to have you back. How do you make your way up here a lot?
This is my second time in Saipan.
Well, I can't wait to your third time.
Oh, yeah. It would be so wonderful. More than a date next time. I did want to add something, about like addressing this issue. I'm a member of the Filipino community, born and raised in Guahan. Just an honor to have been raised by the waters of the Marianas. And I want to say that to my kapamilya, my kababayan, to those who do not have ancestral roots to this place, everyone who falls under that sort of category, please remember that you are a part of this community, and that as being part of this community, you have a responsibility to your community members who are indigenous to these waters, to this place, to the Marianas, to help them, to support them, so that we may all share in the abundance and the beauty of this place, so that we can cultivate and create a future that is worthy of all of us.
Wow. You said it. Anything else? Any last
We'll be on
things?
Tinian,
Yes.
right? So right after this, we're heading to catch a flight to Tinian. So thank you to Micronesia Climate Change Alliance, Friends of the Mariana Trench, our Commonwealth 670, For Luta, From Luta, Protehi Guahan, Hita Litexen. The nonprofit organizations have been going hard during this 60-day comment period. The nonprofit organizations and people who do community work, thank you so much for doing this heart work, right? Heart work for free, for the love of our home. And we're continuing this tour on Tinian. We were on Luta yesterday. Shout out to the people of Luta, to the community, the mayor's office for coming out, for speaking up, for sharing your thoughts, asking questions. We hear that there's so much more desire for education, and that's one reason why we completely support the governor's additional request of more time to engage with our community members, raise awareness, and have conversations throughout our islands. Getting to our sister islands is not as easy as jumping in a car. It's not as cheap, right? And so the nonprofit organizations have collaborated so that we're able to be in spaces, offer support to communities on our sister islands. So we head to Tinian. We're going to engage with the community there. We're having a climate cafe, a community gathering at the Tinian Public Library today at 3:30. And then we will all be attending the town hall hosted by Governor Apatang's administration with PECQ. So Floyd Mosca and Henry Hofschneider have been hosting town halls across the Marianas as well with their team to open space for us to share our thoughts and ask questions about this issue that is so deeply connected to our way of life and that many people are passionate about. So that's where we'll be going next.
That's awesome. And by the way, props to the CNMI government. People usually, it's easy for people to complain about stuff, but it's been so quick to mobilize on this by everybody working together and supporting it, right? Through Saipan, Tinian, Rhoda, and getting the word out, the different organizations, the folks at the college. We've seen people move pretty quick on this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I also just wanted to note that the Council of CNMI Mayors, they are the only political group that have unified their voice in opposition to deep sea mining.
There you go.
And they did that early on. So we really want to recognize our mayors, the Saipan Mayor, Arby Camacho, the Tinian Mayor, Edwin Aldon, our Rhoda Mayor, Aubrey Hokuk, and our Northern Islands Mayor, Valentino Taisaken.
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm so glad that you guys are here. I'm so glad that you were able to share all this stuff. These issues are huge for us, and there's a million more conversations we can have for it. I know you guys are leaving. I know you're leaving me with sustenance from Galaxy. You guys are great folks. I'm so glad that you're here. And we'll be following all this. Hey, we do have a call coming in. Can you guys take a call real quick?
Sure.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hafadaid Zentiro, thanks for calling the show. This is, sorry, that's me. That's me. Ray, is that you?
Yeah, Brad. Yeah, good morning to you and your guests. It is a very interesting and a mystery topic that we are discussing today regarding the deep sea mining. It's a very difficult task to make decisions. However, President Trump also made a statement during the United Nations Forum that climate change is a host. So, having to say that President Trump, being the President of the United States, this one falls down on jurisdiction. And I understand where we stand as islanders in regards to our ocean. In regards to CNMI with our EZ, our jurisdiction is 3 miles. However, Guam might be a different story because they're under Organic Act. The question that needs to be discussed which is something that we need to discuss during the 902 discussion, is this deep sea mining. It's very difficult to really contradict the national security because President Trump has pretty much made this as a national security in regards to mineral and mining in the Marianas. And when it comes to national security, we all know, and I'm not too sure if the guests are aware of the territorial clause in the covenant in regards to CNMI. So I don't know if this would make any impact in regards to our comment, and it's very scary. And when they use territorial clause, the United States took over immigration. And that is the power of the United States over CNMI. So I think what we need to do is we really need to bring all stakeholders, territorial stakeholders. I don't know, maybe during the new formation of the territorial caucus, and discuss this. Or CNMI is given under the covenant to discuss this in the 902 because it's a national issue and a local issue. And the impact in our ocean and the environment is unknown. But we have to be very mindful that our president is a capitalist. And I don't know whether or not he will even consider our culture concern. So that's basically, we need to really analyze this and look at what can we benefit rather than going against this and then the United States use that power under the covenant territorial clause and execute this, and then we have no say. So it's a very sensitive issue, very, very difficult to make a valid decision because every person that has this in mind are all assumptions. There's no concrete or valid data to justify the environmental impact. So rather than really try to put too much pressure, we think this is the governor and our leaders needs to really bring this up to the 902 because we do have that protection under the 902 talk under the covenant. So this is something that is very political and it can reverse and make a serious impact on our decisions. So I just wanted to make that statement that we really need to be very cautious. I understand the environmental impact, all the damage, and this could be another atomic bomb test in the islands. And it just reflects me on what happened to Marshall Island. So this is the testing ground. But we don't have facts and concrete evidence to really make a solid decision. So this is another era of atomic bomb in Micronesia. So that is how I look at the scenario. Nothing has been done, nothing has been proven, and other around the world. And Marianas and our territories will be the first test. So it's very difficult. I don't even know. I'm against it, but at the same time, looking at the economic standpoint, we rather look at what is it that's going to benefit us, because we really need to really revive our economy. Environmental impact, I don't think the United States will even care, because if they did, they wouldn't have done the atomic bomb in Marshall Islands. Thank you. That's all I wanted to comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks for your call.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the call. I'm really grateful for the engagement. Thanks, Brad, for opening up the floor for that. I do have many thoughts running through my head, but making good decisions and how we make good decisions for ourselves, for our families, for our communities, that is a really good starting place. And I think that if we look back in our history, right, recent history, with the garment factory, with the casino, with these major industries that have promised, our leaders even have promised that it will revive our economy. And it may have for a little bit of time, for a little bit of people, but is that the road we want to continue going down, right? And so we want to keep in mind our recent history and how we've made decisions and how we've believed promises that were founded on very shaky grounds. And we have to admit that there have been corruption, activities of corruption along the way. And I think that with major industries, it's something that you can likely expect, especially with something like deep sea mining. When we talk about the jurisdiction, that is a major topic that comes up in the community engagement. In these meetings that we host, people have said things like, oh, that's outside our 3 miles, that's up to the US. No, we don't have to accept that. And we are American citizens. Today, we are American citizens. And so up until the 200-mile mark, that's all of our waters. So we are American citizens. That's all of our waters. We also have to demand better of the US government. As American citizens, Americans in America, in the States, they protest, they speak up, they go to Washington, D.C., they advocate for pollution that's happening in their communities. They don't just say, oh, that's the government, oh, that's the U.S. doing what they want. No, as an American citizen, because democracy is central to the United States, this is part of democracy. It's speaking up, it's advocating. And we have a right to do that. We have a right to demand that of the U.S. government, to manage these waters in the best interest of American citizens. And we are American citizens. And if the industries that they are proposing are harmful, then that is not right. And that is un-American, right? And so it's called the public trust doctrine. And that is something that we can exercise. We have tools that we can exercise. The 902 talks is one that you brought up. Making our way to DC, engaging with agencies, that's another way, right? Speaking up, visiting elected officials, writing letters, doing campaigns. These are all different ways that we can activate community to make our voices heard, which is part of being an American, since we're all American citizens. So I do also want to encourage us to remember that up until the 200-mile mark, it is US managed waters. We are US citizens. We can demand better of this government because this is the relationship that we're in. And in the States, in America, on the continent, communities out there Black, brown, white communities, Asian communities, people who call America home, they do the same thing in their homes. They don't just accept pollution and harmful industry in and around their communities. When it comes to climate change being a hoax, and yes, this administration, this current US administration has made that very clear from the beginning. I want to remind us here that climate change is real for us, right? We experience the disappearing shorelines that we are all shocked about every time we go to Micro Beach. We can now see the Hyatt Beach area, how that has changed. We have experienced super typhoons. We have experienced droughts. Climate change is real for us, and it's not something that is coming. It's something that we're experiencing today. And so a lot of us are considered frontline communities, vulnerable communities, because even in the Pacific, when I have advocated and gathered allies in the Pacific, some Pacific Island communities, they don't see the kind of direct impact of climate change like we do. So even in the Pacific, there are varying levels of experience with climate change. And so for us here, we can make very real connections that climate change is real, that the weather is changing, that it is a national security threat to us. And so when we talk about national security, we have to talk about climate change. That is a very big threat for us, right? Our dying corals, how that's impacting our food security. Whenever a super typhoon comes through, how that's impacting our economy, our well-being, our peace of mind. And so I just wanted to point that out in terms of climate change and national security. The territorial clause that is part of the US Constitution does exist. And because of the work that I do with the US territories, we are very aware of the territorial clause that pretty much states that the US owns us and that they can do whatever they'd like, right? Because we are property of the United States. And we, as the newest US territory in the Northern Mariana Islands, we do have our covenant and we do have our CNMI Constitution. And there's language in there that protects us. And so it is so valid, and I'm so grateful for you bringing up our covenant and the language that we can use to protect ourselves whenever we are in situations where we feel harmful activity is imposed on us. I think it's a matter of reading our covenant, being familiar with this relationship that it lines out, right, that it states, and exercising it, exercising our agency, like exercising the powers that we do have, because the covenant does grant us powers to protect ourselves, and it outlines this relationship with the US. And no changes can be made unilaterally. It has to be made together with our government here in the NMI and with the US government. And so we have to lean on our covenant. We cannot even just lean on court interpretations, because those are US courts interpreting the relationship. But the language in our covenant is there for us. And so we're so grateful for your call. Thank you for, engaging this topic. It does bring up so much, right? Like, we can talk about so much, like the economic impacts, like what are the economic promises? What is an economy? Like how it's such a big word, and there's so many things that are part of an economy, but how can we break it down in a way that that makes sense for us, in a way that our people can engage and do business and trade fairly and sustainably, how we can treat each other like humans, how we can all be comfortable, have affordable lifestyles, affordable gas, affordable utilities, clean water. I mean, This is a life that we all would like, and I think that we're all fighting for.
Tune in tomorrow when Sheila comes back and we talk about all the other topics in the mirror. I would love it. I know.
Love it too.
But we could do any of this anytime, and I would absolutely love it. But you're right. There's a ton of topics to talk about, we'll wrap it up just so you guys can still have the rest of your day.
And go to Tinian.
Yeah, and go to Tinian. Tinian, I promise we won't keep them. They're coming. But after I'm gonna throw the news on real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. But I'm gonna I want to tell you about an idea I got real quick about all this.
What's up?
Thank you for being here so much.
You too.
This is great, and thank you for coming here and putting all this together. Thanks for being staunch defenders of our islands and being so passionate and being on the forefront of all these things. So you guys are just great. And I'm glad I got to meet you today. So thanks so much. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all this other stuff. There's a lot more topics. I know, even though we've been talking about it for a long time, there's a lot more to talk about. But in the meantime, for now, we're going to wrap it up because they have to go over the sea to get next door to Tinian and provide another one of these great town halls for the community. So guys, have a great day. We put links to all these resources in the comments. We'll do more for you as well. I want to eat one of these donuts and talk to these ladies, but in the meantime, let me get you the latest news from the Associated Press coming to you.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Tensions remain high in Minneapolis, where an ICE officer fatally shot a woman yesterday. Minnesota's investigation agency says federal authorities are barring it from their investigation of the incident. Ed Donahue has more.
At the White House, Vice President J.D. Vance says the federal government will handle this.
That guy's protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job. The idea that Tim Walz and a bunch of radicals in Minneapolis are going to go after and make this guy's life miserable because he was doing the job that he was asked to do is preposterous.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome. And I say that only because people in positions of power have already passed judgment, from the president to the vice president to Kristi Noem, have stood and told you things that are verifiably false.
I'm Ed Donahue.
The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits rose last week, but remain historically low. Mortgage rates crept higher, a 30-year averaging 6.16%. And Lisa Dwyer reports President Trump's directing the federal government to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds.
A move he says will help reduce mortgage rates at a time when Americans are worried about home prices. Voters have expressed concerns about housing affordability ahead of the midterm elections in November. Home prices have generally risen faster than incomes, making it harder for renters to buy their first home and for existing owners to upgrade. Trump says that the two mortgage companies under government conservatorship, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, have $2 billion in cash that can be used to make the purchase. Trump also says he wants to block institutional investors from buying houses to help increase available inventory. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
On Wall Street, defense company stocks rallied while the rest of the market drifted. This is AP News. The first college football playoff semifinals getting underway. At the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona, Ole Miss and Miami are playing for a spot in the national championship game. Indiana and Oregon meet in tomorrow night's Peach Bowl in Atlanta. And the NFL now has 8 openings for a head coach. Gethin Coolbaugh has the latest.
The Miami Dolphins have fired coach Mike McDaniel following a 7-10 season in which Miami missed the playoffs for the second straight year. Dolphins owner Stephen Ross said he spoke with McDaniel on Thursday morning to inform him the decision ends McDaniel's 4-year tenure in Miami, a period defined by soaring expectations that ultimately went unfulfilled. The Dolphins went 35-33 under McDaniel, reaching the playoffs in his first 2 seasons but losing in the first round each time. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
There's more news and the latest developments at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
If you see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.